Hello and welcome to Screen Source episode 39. How's everybody doing today?
Good.
Good. Yeah. We have a new face here, Mr. Hector. Actually, don't know your last name.
Valverde.
Nice. Local movie critic, we could say. You write a little bit about film and amongst other things. Yeah.
Oh yeah, at least once or thrice a week. Recently.
Once or thrice a week. Yeah, that's a lot. I've seen a bit of your blog. What's your blog if you want to plug it?
It's Sandia Film Journal.
Sweet. Cool. Make sure to check it out. He writes a ton and he writes very well. So we're going to be talking about a lot of things tonight. We have a lot of movie news and trailer reactions. And what else is going on? Oh, we're going to be reviewing some movies. The Fourth Kind is one of them, kind of an older film, critically panned, loved by me. But let's start off this episode with the trailer reaction to I Am the Night, a new Patty Jenkins film, starring her number one actor right now, I guess.
This is like her. Well, it can't be a muse because he's a man, but I guess it could be. Yeah, it's her muse. Right now.
He's beautiful enough to be a muse.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Anyways, let's get it going.
Cool. I hate when they do a pre-trailer trailer.
Yeah.
All my life, people looked at me. My teachers. Strangers. I found out I was adopted. That's why I left. I guess I just want to know where I come from, who I am.
Yeah, you the one who wrote that article for the Los Angeles Examiner? I got some more information about that trial you might be interested in.
It's got like horror music.
The Mother trailer soundtrack.
Oh. Knows all about it.
Listen there, I just want to talk to you for a second.
I found her. And that's not all. You remember that murder case? There's new information.
You gotta remember where you are. Who runs this city? Some stories don't want to be told. Some stories will eat you alive.
I'm nobody.
You sure about that?
Things been going on. Bad things. This city. It ain't for you.
I can feel it all over the place. It's like a buzz. Find her.
You want to know something? I'll tell you something. I'm gonna find out everything.
They're a cult.
And I don't care what it breaks.
All right.
Wow.
TNT.
Interesting choice. Cool. So about the Black Dahlia murders or something surrounding it.
Maybe something
Connected to it.
Yeah. I hear it's going to be focusing on the doctor who was accused of being the murderer, but he was never convicted. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Sure.
They didn't have enough evidence, right?
Right. Yeah. No, I don't think anybody's ever been convicted. I think that's
Yeah.
why it's such a big story.
Yeah.
But I think this might be like adjacent to all of that. I don't know if it's necessarily built on like anything real.
Right.
Inspired by. Not
Inspired
Yeah.
by. Yeah, maybe. Anyways, how'd you feel about that trailer?
I hadn't heard about. Well, I think I'd heard little snippets of this before, and honestly, I kind of cared less until I saw Black Dahlia, and then we started seeing all that spooky stuff. The Mother trailer soundtrack.
It did sound like just like
Right.
Mother.
Actually, man, watch this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Patty Jenkins on this?
Yeah, that's surprising. Did she just run off and do this real quick, and then between
in
Wonder
between
Woman,
Wonder
Yeah.
Woman 2.
I'll bet that's what it is. I mean,
that's even better.
She's
I
had some
like it.
time.
Yeah, right.
I'll imagine.
Yeah.
I imagine she probably jumped aboard filming Wonder Woman 2 not too shortly after
I'm sure.
Wonder Woman.
Well,
1.
that she scored on that one because they didn't lock her up to begin with. So
right.
she
Making
renegotiated for the second round.
mad money
Right.
for
And she's
that.
like, give me more
So,
money, guys.
yeah,
Give
right?
me more money.
For sure.
Good for her.
It looks good. It reminded me a little bit of as the Zodiac with the reporter and everything. So
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it'll kind of with the series it'll.
Sure, yeah. Also about Zodiac Killer, another
Zodiac
murder mystery.
was a movie, and it was really long, but it was good. It was really good.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I
Yeah.
think this would do well as a series. Just
Yeah.
so being able to cover everything.
Right,
aspects,
right.
You know, without
This-
being a 3-hour movie.
Exactly.
Poster looks like it comes at night.
Yeah, I got confused.
Oh, yeah.
Almost the
right.
exact same like photo, like
Fonts.
image
The
and
same
font.
yeah.
How
And
weird.
and the name is almost the same exact name.
Uh-huh.
They really should have thought that one through.
Yeah.
That's
No kidding.
Right.
But limited series to TNT comes out in January of next year.
Okay.
This is a
Looks real
really
good.
early trailer, I think. 6
Yeah.
months out, 7
Yeah.
months out.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
It seems
Um,
like there's also like some sort of like they were throwing hints in there that the main girl, that she's like half black, but she like got
Adopted.
adopted
Right.
somehow, and like they're trying to keep that a secret, and we don't know why, and like it seems really interesting.
Yeah. How does it all tie together
Like,
at the end? And limited series is always nice to hear because I feel like I'm more inclined to watch it.
Only if it's really limited, like 8 episodes tops. Like,
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Some
Right.
of the Netflix limited series go on a little too
Like 24
far. Well, I mean, just like 13. Sometimes 13 is a little too much.
Are there any
Yeah.
ones in particular you're thinking of?
The Marvel ones. I love Daredevil, but Jessica
Oh.
Jones and
Oh,
Luke
okay.
Cage definitely. Well, and Iron Fist.
I don't think those are being pushed as limited though. I think those are like seasonal.
mini-series.
Yeah,
half.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hard to
Yeah.
say. But yeah. Anyways, I think this has definitely caught my interest. I like Chris Pines a lot.
Right.
I've been going back and rewatching the Star Trek movies. They're
Yeah.
good. They're a good time.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
good.
I was like watching them at work on my little phone in the corner, not actually getting work done.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know this female actress though.
She
She
seems
looks
new.
familiar.
Really? Yeah,
I think
I
I've seen her
don't-
in something.
I haven't.
Yeah, I just read it too, what she was in, but it's just obviously nothing any of us are watching.
Yeah, maybe it's like an indie movie
Well,
or
I'm
something.
pretty. It's
I think she's
pretty
from
fresh
TV.
Anyway, so right. Yeah.
Oh,
I
cool.
could be wrong.
Yeah.
Hector will look it up, unless you're scratching yourself.
Nope. I'm not scratching my butt. I'm scratching my phone.
And okay, cool. So in the meantime, yeah, let's go on to our news. We got a lot of news this week. Let's just talk a little bit about what we're going to talk about in this episode. Jessica, what's your news topic?
It is a TV series about young Freud.
Young Freud. I'm talking about Netflix. We got some numbers finally. It's not from Netflix, but we know that Netflix is killing it, and how much they are, we will see. What are you talking about, Stan?
Looks like our favorite actress Scarlett Johansson's found herself in the middle of another casting controversy. So yeah,
She just can't talk her way out of those things, huh? She needs to start making better moves.
What's your topic?
I'll be covering the 2 Child's Play Chucky series. New things coming up, a movie and a TV show.
Interesting that they're
Cool.
splitting it up like that. All right.
adjacent. Like yeah, not really connected. I think.
Huh.
Huh.
All right. We'll get into it.
Yeah,
We'll get
we'll
into
get
it. And then again, we'll do some reviews, Fourth Kind, and I don't know if we're reviewing anything else this week. We'll talk about a little bit what we're watching throughout the week, and then we got a couple more trailers coming at you too. So,
Cool.
anyways, Jessica, what's our first news topic? Actually, Hector, did you end up finding out?
Well, she was in Underworld Awakening.
Okay, is that the second one?
It's from 2012. I don't know.
Okay, one of
Too
the
many.
many Underworld
One of
movies
the
because there's like
Underworld
20
Okay.
million
It
of
looks
them.
like a lot of little movies I haven't really heard of.
Okay, so
But
nothing too big. Maybe this will be a breakout.
Pretty prolific. Oh, Secret Life of the American Teenager. I know that was a little popular.
That's the one I read. What is that?
It's an, what was it? ABC Family, now Freeform TV
Okay.
show about
Gotcha.
the American teenager.
The average
Okay.
American
so
teenager?
like just like adolescents, I guess.
Freeform is ABC's like basically their stream. No, it's they have a streaming service, but it's a second channel
Yeah.
to them basically.
More like what's
I don't know if it's targeted at teen. I think it's targeted more at like indie stuff.
It's not the same. Is it now taking over the CW, or is it different than the CW?
No, that's different.
They're like
different.
very
It's just another
similar.
channel owned by ABC.
Yeah,
basically.
they just seem like they have like the same content.
Freeform
honestly.
is cable, I believe.
Yeah.
ABC
Okay.
is
local.
local.
Yeah, you're right. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Anyways, Jess, what's going on this week?
So there's going to be a series about young Sigmund Freud, and it is going to be coming out on Netflix, but it's not coming out in the United States yet. It's coming out for Austria, Belgium, Finland, and Hungary, and it is not going to be like a docu-series or anything.
Is he fighting vampires?
Well,
Yo.
not exactly. It's going to be a procedural about him as a young Sigmund Freud using his psychoanalytic abilities to try and catch a serial killer in 19th century Vienna.
Oh my god.
It sounds like he has a superpower, but
well,
like a Sherlock.
I mean, he has two sidekicks in the show. He's going to have a local Vienna cop and a medium, which I don't know.
Okay.
It's funny because they were, this article is talking about how like all those medium shows were so big for a while, and then like now it's
there was
not
the
really
one
a
called
thing anymore.
Medium.
Yeah,
Right,
I liked them all. I gotta say, I was a sucker for those medium shows. I don't even believe mediums, but I was a sucker for those.
I like Medium.
Yeah.
The one was with Patricia.
With Arquette, yeah.
she was good.
And then, I think it was the other Arquette. I forget what her first name is, but and then there was that kind of stupid one with Jennifer Love Hewitt, Ghost Whisperer or something. I liked that one too.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah. So anyway, they're saying that the era of those shows is over. However, the procedural is like a big thing now, and so that's why they're doing this like crime show.
So is this show going to be in English, or if
That's
it's coming
just
out in
what I
other
was gonna say.
territories?
No, I don't
it's
think so.
not- oh.
It's likely going to be in German, I would guess, right? Because
that's what
he
yeah.
spoke German. Yes.
He's
Yeah.
from Austria.
Or German. Yeah. So I think it's in German.
I would imagine if it's not being released here until way later.
Yeah. And I guess there was another show that was supposed to be coming out about Freud back in 2014 that never got made. Like it never came out. And so people are kind of speculating, like, is this actually going to happen? We don't know. But that sounds kind of interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Did you say
yet.
procedural?
Yeah, like a crime show,
Like a cop movie.
Okay,
Cop
yeah, which
show.
is he never did,
Law
right?
Order.
No, I
Not
don't think
really.
so.
He never really like
He never
was a
was in on a
consultant
case
or
or something
anything.
like that,
No,
yeah.
he did like
He was too busy doing research.
he was too busy like telling women that they wanted penises and stuff. So
Nice.
Yeah, given
Sorry.
how outdated some of Freud's
Theories.
theories are now in modern psychology,
Yeah.
he's gonna have a hard time finding the killers.
Mhm.
Don't you have a degree in psychology? Did I make that
Yes,
up?
I just graduated in May with
Oh,
English
yeah.
and psychology.
Congrats.
Awesome.
Very cool.
So-
Yeah.
Freud, what can you tell us about the murderer? Well, I can tell you that he probably enjoys having a penis.
He also loves his mom.
Yep, a
Loves
lot.
his mama.
Yeah.
And you study a lot of Freud too, right, Jess?
Yeah, I am. I have a degree in sociology, and then I also have a degree in social work. So
A lot of that's
Studied a lot of
based
psych.
on he's the
Yeah.
number
You know,
he's the original.
Freud
the
has some
OG.
good theories. I won't say that all his theories are bad. He has some really good theories, like defense mechanisms and id, ego, and superego. I think those are pretty good. But penis envy and the Oedipal complex, that kind of stuff. I don't know, Freud. You're a little sexist, gotta
Can't
say.
wait for the spin-off series featuring Carl Jung.
Carl Jung.
And
Oh my god. Well, that I might watch.
You're
I
like
don't
the
know.
Carl Jung is an
Avengers of
intergalactic bounty
psychology.
hunter.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that
There you
sounds
go.
great.
Hobbs, but the actual psychologists.
Right.
That
right.
sounds
That'd be
great.
great. That'd be great.
So
Yeah.
you got how does this pique anybody's interest?
It's not in English, so sorry.
We'll see.
Sort of. Just maybe to see.
Okay,
Mhm.
see
Just
what's
for the
up.
spectacle.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
I'm down for subtitles. So.
Yeah, I don't
As a
know.
card-carrying weeaboo, subtitles are not anything that turns me off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, Netflix they have an original called Dark, and it is like top 3
Oh my God, it's
favorite
so
shows.
good.
Oh, right,
It's
right.
so good.
Jessica and I are all about this.
It's in German.
Oh, it is
German,
German.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Have you
nice,
seen
yeah.
this?
No, isn't it like Stranger Things? That's what I was like.
Very
German Stranger
similar.
Things.
But in many ways
But
better.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
um,
it's
yeah.
crazy.
darker.
It's-
Yeah, dark. That's true.
and it's like the kids are a little older, so it's kind of like interesting. I don't know. It's very
It's fantastic.
very good.
It's fantastic.
Uh-huh,
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I've been hearing about it. I do want to watch it.
Yeah, definitely give it a try.
Oh yeah, and watching it's an original language too, and then with English
With
subtitles.
Right.
Yeah, I really don't like the dubbing on things sometimes. It just sounds
Well, there's
weird.
do that?
two different types of.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they dubbed it actually, but there's also 2 different types of subtitles. So make sure you do the right one. I forget which
Yeah.
one that one is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Netflix is getting complicated.
I know it's getting all
There's
weird
the
now.
Subtitles of the original language as close as possible, and then there's the closed captioning that matches the ADR they had to do for the English.
So which one's better?
You would want the one that isn't synced to the dub.
The one that's not synced to
yeah.
the dub. Okay, gotcha,
So
gotcha.
Because the
translation.
idea would be that if you're watching the dub and you want to have the subtitles for captioning, you want them to match the words. But
Okay.
the words aren't going to be as close to a literal translation as
Got it.
Right.
Okay, interesting.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's exactly what
Yeah.
it was. I
Yeah.
remember we made the mistake for the first
We
episode.
we Googled how to watch it correctly, and
Oh,
then we
man.
put the settings on correctly, and it was wonderful. It's good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
a lot of Netflix anime. I've had to do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right? Yeah.
That makes
yeah,
sense.
Yeah.
So more on Netflix. An article came out
course,
recently.
it's always
Netflix is
Netflix.
number 1 choice for TV viewing, beating broadcast, cable, and YouTube, says the study.
Oh.
So there was a survey done by Cohen and Company. 2,500 U.S. adults. 25 people would suck, but 2,500.
That'd be small.
And the question was, which platforms do you use most often to view video content on TV? And overall, number 1 was Netflix with 27%, followed by basic cable at 20, followed by YouTube at 8. Broadcast at 18 and YouTube at 11. What's the difference between basic cable and broadcast?
Cable.
Yeah, okay. That's how long it's been since I've had cable.
Oh,
I know.
right? Yeah. No.
Or
no,
even like-
it's
yeah.
foreign now.
I know.
So when looking at adults 18 to 34, Netflix lead is even more dramatic. Nearly 40% of those in the younger
Wow.
demo said they used that. And that's ahead of YouTube at 17, which is next. Basic cable at 12, Hulu at 7, broadcast at 7.5, Hulu at 7. Wow, I'm actually surprised at how low that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Hulu the same price as Netflix? I always forget.
It's like
Because
It's a
Hulu
little
charges
shorter.
you and still shows you ads.
People don't like ads.
They've always been. They've always have ads.
Well,
they've always
I
had,
will
like,
say-
You can
it's a
pay
new
more.
thing for-
Today I was gonna throw something at the TV because Hulu was being a son of a you know what.
Right.
I was like, are you kidding me, man? I turned the ad block off 20 times and you're still doing this to me. I'm gonna kill you. So
That's partially
I
our
can
fault because we have
understand.
ad block.
Yeah.
But I will say if you are a student or know somebody with a student ID, or basically just an email address, if you pay $5 a month, you get Spotify and Hulu.
But you have to
Okay.
watch those stupid ads.
But you have to
and
watch
you have to watch a million of them.
Yeah, I think they call it limited ad. I think they have a full ads
So-
and then limited ads and then no ads. So there's
Yeah.
all these tiers.
Nice.
And on
So-
top of that, Netflix is releasing a new thing for their Ultra
HD.
HD. Yeah, so everything's going up in cost again.
Yep, and then Movie
And
Pass.
Spotify, even if you don't have ads, they try to sneak Drake into all of your playlists.
It's like I don't.
I listen to exclusively electro funk, chip tunes, and the Proto Men. I don't want to listen to Drake.
Drake. No, I've never listened to Drake before in my life, so I don't know why they.
So this is this article was all over everywhere. I'm reading this is off of Variety. Netflix is kind of notorious for not releasing information on their statistics, and probably for a smart reason. That's some of the power that they own is that they have so much data mining material. What do you call
Oh,
that?
right, yeah.
Yeah,
mining?
data mining. Yeah, they have a lot of information on viewership.
Yeah.
and they're owning it right now.
Yeah.
This
Killing it.
year they have they're on pace to spend $13 billion on new content. That's just
Wow.
Oh my
2018.
God.
That's insane.
I mean, there is
Um,
such a thing as too much, though.
Yeah, I can't keep up with all these new Netflix
That's what I'm
shows.
saying. It's just like, give us a little bit of time to actually watch some of these things.
Right now, they're up 51% year over year from last year's content, and I think that's by hour.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, they I don't need to tell you that Netflix owns everything right now.
Yeah.
But it is interesting because we are at a time now where it's being proven that cable is just kind of going out of
obsolete.
style.
We're getting the new style of cable, which is a billion different streaming services. We got the Prime, the Hulu, the
Yeah.
Netflix, the new DC, the Disney.
Yep.
It's-
Yeah.
And I'm
it's
getting
just-
those.
Yeah, I mean, it's just cable 2.0.
Yeah, that's really all it
Yeah.
is.
And you're just paying like, I mean, yeah, they're all cheap individually, but if you pay for every single one of them, you're gonna be paying like $100 a month.
But they
so much money.
another reason I think why they're doing it, aside from Netflix kind of like setting the cookie for, that's not the expression, setting the breadcrumbs for people to kind of follow. Netflix got the cookie. Is that they, again, like they will have so much more access to what users want by them doing this.
Sure.
And it's more informational than what do they use for television? To Nielsen ratings. Thank you. Yes. It just tells us more than Nielsen ratings does. And as far as I understand, too, Nielsen ratings are kind of outdated. And
Yeah.
And so yeah, here we are, Netflix age.
Yep.
There
Everybody.
we go.
Yep.
And I'm kind of okay with it. I want to watch everything VOD.
It's like as soon as that
Yes.
meme Netflix and chill came out, it all went downhill from there.
I bet Blockbuster's kicking themselves for not.
Oh my god.
I know
Blockbusters
they're
is kicking
probably
themselves.
so pissed off about that.
Yeah.
definitely.
And that, if they would have implemented what they were talking about then, that would have been like revolutionary.
Oh yeah,
Sure, yeah.
Because
definitely.
it was not only Netflix content, but it was also whatever movies they had rights to or whatever.
Yeah, it's interesting to
Right.
think that at a time there was a Blockbuster, there was Netflix, and then I think did Redbox also come out around that
I
time?
think they tried. Yeah.
Redbox is pretty old, actually.
Yeah,
it dates
they
back
are,
to like
right?
2006.
Whoa.
Oh,
okay.
you mean the red box? They did try to do a little streaming service too. But
Blockbuster.
Oh.
Oh,
Redbox.
Redbox.
Oh yeah,
did.
just
Yeah.
recently. I haven't
Yeah.
tried it. We
Yeah,
do
I
re-
just heard about it. I haven't.
we Redbox a lot. The streaming. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't. I haven't really gotten details on that.
Yeah.
Huh.
All right. What else is going on in the news?
All right. So ScarJo,
Everyone's favorite actor.
Still love her.
Scarlett Johansson.
I do
found
too, but
herself
damn it.
Let him get to the
Scarlett.
topic. Let him get to the
a
topic.
little bit of hot water yet again. So surprisingly, the same director from Ghost in the Shell, Rupert Sanders, and Scarlett Johansson have their next movie is an adaptation, or their next movie is a biopic called Rub and Tug, and it's based on the real life story of massage parlor boss Dante Tex Gill.
Oh no.
Now, what the biggest problem with this is that Dante Tex Gill is actually a transgender man, and not only that, there's a big sort of not conspiracy, but contention, because for most of his life he's been transgender and wanted to be trans, but was mischaracterized by everyone around him. Even to the point where it's a biopic, so it's obituary. They were saying it's a woman, was a woman, and actually, like they go so far as to call her the massage parlor queen. And Deadline reported the movie is a fact-based story of a woman who flourished in a male-dominated business of massage parlors and prostitution by essentially taking on the physical identity of a man. So.
Interesting.
Yeah. So again, Scarlett Johansson found herself in the middle crosshairs of LGBT community has been coming out, and
So she's going to be playing
she's
this
supposed
character.
to be playing the character of Dante Tex Gill.
Oh.
Yeah.
And,
Roll my eyes.
If you see pictures of, I don't know if we can, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's really, it's a real stretch.
Oh,
it's a
boy.
real stretch as to the actual
Person,
character.
If
yeah.
she gets to pretend to be one more minority, then she gets a free Sunday.
Okay, I'll defend
Something
her
like
on
that.
Ghost in the Shell just because they actually explained that in the movie. And, you know, a lot of the Asian audience was okay with it. But,
Right.
you know, Scarlett Johansson, you're so talented. You can do so many great things. You could just do a disembodied voice in her and
Yeah.
be great. Just,
Yeah.
She was great in that movie.
Can
Yeah.
you just...
Right.
I love you, man. Just be smarter about this.
Make better
Takes
choices.
classes to rant about Ghost in the Shell, or would that take too long?
I know you can rant about Ghost in the Shell. Yeah, I'm on the opposite end of Hector here. Yeah, I totally get that they would try to justify that. That does not surprise me one bit.
The story didn't require it to be for like the white girl body. They clearly wrote that into the story.
You're gonna need to get on mic if you're gonna rant, man.
All right, I'm going to talk loudly. They clearly wrote that into the story specifically to address Scarlett Johansson because there's nothing at all in the original Ghost in the Shell, anything similar to that. Like,
There's also an interesting like culture too in Japan where they a lot of their characters are kind of like white or Japanese, and that's pretty much it. But also too, there's like zero multiculturalism in Japan.
I'm gonna have to hot take, guys.
Yeah, go ahead, go Jess.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I'm really, really tired of Hollywood using the excuse that it's okay to do this whole cultural appropriation thing. I'm really sick of it, guys. We have so many trans actors that they could
Yeah.
be using for this. We had so many Asian actresses that they never use in film. Like, come on now. Except in foreign films. That's it. It's like... Right. And same with
Pacific Rim.
same with trans actors. They're only in foreign films. Notice they're hardly ever in an American film. What is the problem, America?
Yeah, Hollywood's
Get on board.
2018.
Yeah, Hollywood's
This-
never really been ahead of the game.
You know what? We have too much racism and all this other kind of bullshit in real life. We need for there to be representation in film and TV. It's really not that hard.
Yeah, I know largely it's like, you know, ScarJo, good hot take. I like people love ScarJo. I get why they keep putting her in the movies, and she is a fantastic actor. And so that is the only thing I can think of like the reason why they would put her in the film is because they're like, oh, we think that it'll sell
money.
tickets.
It's money. It's her and the same director, but I guess she's coming under fire because they're saying that it's on the surface it sounds like an interesting story, but if they didn't maybe do their due diligence and dig a little deeper,
Yeah.
as opposed as to the character, who the character really is and was, and how, you know, I guess people would like that character to be portrayed.
Yeah,
You know what I
and
mean?
you could.
So-
There's mistakes that can be made too. Like Annihilation, there was a big mistake kind of made in that it was considered a whitewashed film.
Really?
Sure.
Yeah. I know there was people of other colors, but like some of the characters were like Native American, and they picked a white woman and like things like that. But it seemed like an honest mistake. The director came out and talked about it and said, "We actually didn't know that until the second book. I only read the first book."
Right.
Et cetera, et
and then
cetera.
even in that sense, he just kind of like loosely riffed on the book anyway.
Sure,
Right.
It's a
right.
movie.
So,
Yeah. And so she actually made a statement too that said, if you want to talk about this, gosh, what was it? Let me pull
Hit
it
up
up.
by
Yes.
Jeffrey Tambor and
Basically, other characters in television that have been not
Sure,
not-
but
not-
that doesn't
yeah.
make it okay.
Right.
though.
Right.
it was,
Well,
it was a
the-
funny
there's-
response though.
It was
okay
kind
to
of funny.
continue.
Huh?
It's not okay to continue.
Right. Yeah. That's really just
Yeah.
it.
Ed Skrein, he was the villain in Deadpool, the first Deadpool. He had kind of a similar where he was cast as an Asian character. I don't remember what the movie or what it was, and he was like, "No, that's not cool." Like I think there was some actual Asian actors working on, and so they all were and then when he talked to them, they're like, "Well, you know," and so he stepped down like himself. He was like, no, you know, I
that's-
don't want to be in the middle of this. I don't want, you know, and people are obviously upset.
Yeah.
You know, so let's try to figure something else.
I didn't want to be Matt Damon in The Great Wall or whatever that
yeah,
was called,
absolutely. Yeah,
or,
you know, I mean,
or
he- you know,
Tom
he did
Cruise in
White
the last.
I give
The
him-
white savior trope is essentially what all that is.
So I mean, it's not like it's not like there's nothing they can do about it.
Sure.
You
No,
know what I mean?
there's lots
So
they can do.
Well,
Yeah.
on that note, you think there's any chance they'll cancel the movie, or
I
you
don't.
think she'll drop out even?
I
no.
I
No.
doubt
It's
it.
gonna
It's too
go
sassy.
forward just like Ghost in the Shell, and yeah, I'm gonna be not happy.
But it is early enough that they could.
They
I
definitely.
don't think
could.
they started production on it.
Right.
Maybe they're all in pre-production right now.
Yeah.
But I would find it really interesting if they cast a man, and then the man is in the beginning of the film, and he turns into ScarJo
Oh gosh.
somewhere in the film.
No.
Wait, isn't it?
And
they
she
done that in the
doesn't-
movie
She's not
before?
even like remotely
Is it the other way around?
I'm
masculine.
pretty sure it's the other way
Like
around.
even with that hair, she's not masculine.
That's true.
Like it's just
She's all woman.
Oh yeah.
Time. What if, in order to prepare for this role, Scarlett Johansson starts taking like transition
hormone
hormones
therapy?
and all that stuff, and then eventually like the movie comes out and she's just like, I've been trying to find an excuse to transition for decades.
We're gonna have to get you a mic if you're gonna keep talking.
I mean, I
No.
think if she does that, I still won't like it.
It's too late.
It's too late,
yeah.
Scarlett. It's
Yeah,
too late
sorry,
For you.
ScarJo.
Yeah.
Bad decision, Johansson.
Yeah.
That's what we'll call her from
Yeah.
now
There
on.
we go.
What else is going on? What's some fun news?
Well, in
Yeah.
other news, so previously there was reported that Chris Mancini, writer of the first Child's Play movie and also director of Seed and Cult of Chucky, I believe, is going to team up with the series producer David Kirshner to make a TV show, miniseries, I think, about Child's Play. And that would be a continuation of the really crazy canon that's been established for the series already. Meanwhile, for some reason, forgot what studio it is, but the It producers, MGM, yes, teaming up with the It producers to make a reboot of the first Child's Play movie. And these two Child's Play series would play out completely differently. So the movie would be a remake of the first Child's Play, while the TV series would continue on from the other.
Is this an
3-4
accident?
movies. No.
What the hell?
This is
MGM?
so weird.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, does people even really like Chucky that anymore?
I think it's one of those weird Hollywood things.
Yeah.
Like you remember that was the whole Evil Dead controversy.
Sure.
Like that, people were divisive about the movie remake, and then they had the
The
Evil
TV
Dead
show.
TV show coming out.
Ash versus Evil
I
Dead.
think it's the kind of, and from what I heard about this particular, but the Child's Play reboot is they're kind of refocusing. So it's not. I think it's less about like the voodoo, whatever supernatural aspect, and it's more about like the technology gone awry. Maybe
Oh, like
I don't know
turning
if there's-
into an iPad.
Well, it's like so he's probably supposed to be like a super doll.
Okay,
Kind
like
of
a
deal.
robot
and then,
kind
and
of.
then it kind of gets maybe gets
Yeah,
self-aware or
isn't
something.
Chucky's actually based off of like a real doll? I think it's somewhere in Florida or something.
Ugh.
Like, do kids
Oh,
even
This
play
is why I
with
hate dolls.
dolls?
It's
anymore?
very.
I
it's
mean,
a
this
very
isn't for
80s,
kids.
80s trope. So
Yeah.
I mean,
But
it's,
the new-
I don't know if they meant for it to
The
extend.
movie
this
will
long.
be a reboot, and or a remake actually. So imagine that would take place in the current time.
Right.
I don't know.
a possessed
Instead of
iPad.
dressing a doll, he jumps into like the kid's Fortnite game.
The iPad. Oh god, yeah.
It's just like
His Nintendo.
I mean, you know what? I will say that I think the new It is, in my opinion, better than the old It, but that doesn't mean that this is going to be better than the original Chucky. I'm not sure, but that'd be awesome.
Well, okay, so I'm cool with the idea of them making a TV show. I find that really interesting.
Yeah.
Especially since continuing from the canon.
Yeah.
And I'm actually kind of excited for the new Purge TV show. Like horror TV shows based on these properties actually might be a really good idea. I don't know if
Sure.
the Purge series
because
will be
there
any
isn't
good.
if I'm not mistaken, there's not a lot of horror TV shows. I know there was like a reboot era of horror TV shows like 3 years ago or something. That maybe
Yeah.
Exorcist, and they did a couple other
Oh,
ones.
that was the Exorcist.
And
Sounds
then
like
now
they're
it's
very
like
successful.
20
Yeah, it was.
million Stephen King ones on Netflix.
Well, yeah, that's
Right.
happening right now too.
Yeah.
But you know, the thing about TV
Oh, Stranger
is
Things.
you're going to work with a smaller budget on TV. So you're going to have to be more creative. And if they get good writers, good directors, good everything, I think it'd actually be pretty good. I don't know about the movie. I'm not sold on making a remake of the original Child's Play.
Yeah.
That it doesn't surprise me.
Especially, well, they had the book. as well, like as the source instead of just the old movie. This is just the source is the old movie.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
You know, I don't know. That already a copy of a copy is never.
In some ways, though, I trust those producers. I mean, they killed it on the It movie.
It was okay.
Oh, hot take. Very quick
Yeah.
one, but it was one.
I can't decide on it until the next one comes out.
Mm,
Where
okay.
I'm at,
Okay.
where I stand.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
The
I need to
next
see-
It's all
one-
based on the
see-
second.
I
one.
need to see the next one.
Of
Okay.
which
Really
I think
solid.
they finished all of like the casting for the adult cast.
It's a really
yeah,
interesting
yeah. It looks
casting.
good.
It
Yeah.
looks
It looks
so
good.
good.
They had to ugly up Jessica Chastain to make her look like a real redhead.
Aww, Jessica Chastain's
I,
so pretty.
I love Jessica Chastain.
I do
but
She's
I've
great.
seen the makeup, the test makeup.
Yeah.
Really
I don't know if they had to do that.
interesting. I also heard they're going to
She
keep the
was getting
controversial
beat-
scene.
beat,
No.
so-
I heard that.
No.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
They're gonna
okay.
what?
keep the controversial scene.
What?
Spoiler.
What?
Yeah, a bit of a spoiler. We won't
Oh,
say
no.
it,
Oh,
but
no.
Have
It's,
you read
a
the book?
30-year-old.
it's a 30-year-old. But yeah. So there was
It is
a
30-year-old.
there's a sex scene between the female actor or the female character rather and the five
All of them.
guy.
Well, that happened in the early timeline. Since
Yes.
they didn't incorporate into the first movie, I doubt they'll. Well, maybe they can incorporate into the new movie.
I
don't
do
know.
think the
That'll be
new
crazy.
movie will have. Well,
Jump.
we
kinda jump
do
back.
know, right? It's gonna jump or
Yeah, it's gonna-
we're
They-
gonna
they-
see
yeah, the
child
kids are. I
actors.
think the kids are like in it.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they are cast. in it.
So they're just gonna have an orgy?
I don't
like,
know.
of
I don't
children?
heard, that's what I read.
I don't think it's okay. I saw the first It movie, the remake.
Yeah.
With my, seen it with my family. It was actually a pretty enjoyable family movie. There was just blood and guts and some very well used swearing.
Yeah.
So I'd be surprised if they took it just to the far extreme where it's not
Right.
very watchable by younger audiences. You know what I'm
Sure,
saying? It's
yeah.
rated
I mean, it is
R,
rated
but-
R.
It is-
Yeah.
yeah.
But even then, I
Yeah.
thought it was a soft R.
It could be implied. You know, I don't know that we're gonna see an X movie.
I don't need to see that.
Actual, yeah, get down. Whack 'em, whack 'em, whack 'em.
Yeah,
I don't need to see no child orgies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nah.
No.
For the
Don't
record,
need it,
no
but
one
do we
does.
need to see
About to
a
get another
Chucky
hot take.
reboot?
I don't know.
TV show you like?
I'll
movie
watch it.
or-
I'll
I
watch
gotta,
it.
Yeah.
I gotta see it. I gotta see what they're doing.
Sure, I'm interested in the trailer.
Yeah.
Well, I actually
Right.
do want to see what like modernized Chucky
Well,
will look
yeah.
I
like.
hope
Exactly.
they don't use extensive CGI because the photorealism of the puppet, you can't match that with CGI.
Yeah.
It'll look
Yeah.
wonky.
I do
Yeah.
wonder
Yeah.
though, like his eyes looked like. I mean, it was the doll. It was an
It's
actual
creepy,
doll.
yeah. 'Cause
yeah.
it's a doll.
God,
It's a
so
puppet.
fucking creepy.
Yeah, but watching, did he
Oh, man,
blink?
dolls.
Did he
Oh,
blink?
yeah,
dude, that doll did
Well,
everything.
then too, like the.
Probably pee on your
would,
face.
I would enjoy just the fact that animatronics has evolved
Sure,
just
yeah.
as much as CG.
Get that Jim
There's a
Henson
lot
crew
of
on
times-
it.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
There's a lot.
That'd be
yeah,
great.
Like I think like one of the things now is like you can program them to like mimic mouth movements.
Ugh, so
And,
crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Creepier the better,
Ugh.
right?
Like consonant vowel mouth like sounds.
Ugh.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
like,
That'd be
ah, okay.
amazing.
Guys, when,
Like Leica movies, their claymation stuff, a lot of their scenes are actually tiny little clay-covered robots.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
they're not even stop motion anymore.
Yeah, I've
So
seen like
impressive.
Leica behind the scenes where they have like mouth. They have just like 50 different mouths for every single
Wow.
movement.
They
your
just
outfit
3D
make.
print everything.
It's
so
amazing.
efficient.
That's
It's
crazy.
awesome.
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
should definitely do that for this. I'd be down if they did that.
But it's not claymation. I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
what it's gonna
It's
look
gonna
like.
look
Yeah,
I don't
who
know.
knows?
Yeah.
I watched this when I was 10 years old,
Oh.
and guys, that's
great.
not a good time to watch this. Let me just say, because I watched this and I watched Puppet Master, and then I got rid of all my dolls.
That'll
And my
do it.
mom was like, "Why are you getting rid of your dolls?" I'm like, "Because they're gonna kill me.
That'll do it.
They're gonna murder me in my
I saw
sleep."
Puppet Master. I don't know why I never saw Chucky though.
That's weird.
That is
They're
weird. I
all
got it
just
backwards.
Yeah,
terrible.
The other way around, yeah.
Sequels
Yeah.
get crazy, man.
Do
You
that?
gotta-
Well, yeah,
gotta
you
see
said there's a
them.
lot of lore. How many movies are there?
I think it's
Oh, Puppet Masters?
Seed.
No, like-
It's the original Seed, Bride.
Oh.
And I think Cult was just last year, so I think it's 4. I might be missing one. But
Oh,
it's
jeez.
4 as far
there's
as I know.
5.
There's
Five?
3. There's the
I think there's
3.
one between Chucky and Bride
There's-
of Chucky, but
there's-
I don't remember.
It's not
There's 3.
Seed,
There's
is
1,
it?
2, and 3. There's Bride, then Seed, then Cult. So that's what, 6?
Oh, they just have unnamed, untitled sequels?
There's Child's Play 1 and 2 and 3.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Bride of Chucky, and then
I mean, I
the
guess
kind of
it's
the
not
newer
as
one.
bad as like the Halloween series. You wouldn't have to watch like 30 of them.
Yeah,
There's
right.
7.
Okay.
7?
Child's Play 1, 2, and 3.
1, 2,
Bride
3.
of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, Curse of Chucky,
Curse.
and
of Chucky.
Cult.
Curse of Chucky.
Jesus.
Damn.
Yeah, Curse.
That
of
is
Chucky.
a
I
lot
forgot
of
Curse
lore.
Chucky.
Too much Chucky.
Yeah,
But
I imagine
sure.
they're all pretty similar.
Yeah, they get funnier. They get more satirical as they go on.
Oh, so they did the Evil Dead thing.
Yeah, so I wonder how the new ones would work.
There's
Chucky-
also
the
more
reboot.
voodoo magic powers.
Chucky reminds me of Freddy. He became Freddy in the he's just kind of like a party guy, you know. Like it was all fun and games by like 3 and 4. It was
Sure.
they're just riffing and just going, you know. They don't even
Isn't
really
that
care
like
about
the
being
plot
scary.
Of Seed of Chucky is that he doesn't want to go and murder people anymore, but his son does.
Oh, I don't even remember.
Oh my
I'm
God,
pretty
yeah,
sure that
Offspring?
is. Yeah. Yeah.
Something like
He's
that,
done
yeah.
doing all the murders.
All right. Let's move on to our next segment.
Yeah.
So coming soon now with post tomatoes, which always comes before.
Pre-tomatoes.
That's right. So normally every week we do here's the new films and here's the new TV that are shows that are coming out for that week, and then we assign what we think the Rotten Tomato scores are going to be, and the following week we take a look at them. Now, this show is normally filmed on Sundays, but we're thinking about switching it over to Thursdays. So today we are filming it on Thursday. And with that in mind, films come out on Thursdays, Thursday evenings at 7, at least here. That's probably a normal
I'd normally
nationwide
be
thing.
at Ant-Man right now.
You'd normally be at
I
Ant-Man
got
right
invited. No, I was turning that down.
Aw.
And so what we're thinking
Should
about
go
doing,
afterwards, guys.
yeah, we could.
At work in the morning.
So what's going to happen is, I think, moving forward, this makes the most sense, is that when we do this, we'll talk about the films that are coming out that day, Thursday night, and then the following week we'll relook at those scores, and then we'll talk about the new things coming out again and again. And so I didn't update this because, well, it didn't make sense. But we can kind of go over it again really quickly. Sorry to Bother You comes out today.
Comes out next week in Albuquerque. I'm so excited.
Oh,
for
it's
that.
limited. So it's LA probably this week.
Yeah.
Or even nationwide, and we just got it late.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's usually like that.
We're
Albuquerque
always
usually
the
gets stuff
last
a couple
ones.
weeks after the.
Yeah,
limited
Isle of
release.
Dogs. That really
That's like
made
a
me
month-old
mad.
wait, man.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
way too long.
American Animals too.
So sorry to bother you. We thought it was gonna be a 95%. I know there actually is a score right now, but we'll actually get a better score next week, or at least a more.
It's like
more of a
early score.
yeah,
I see.
Yeah. Bigger representation of that. And a lot of these too, the critics get them a couple weeks ahead of time sometimes, and so we actually see early scores.
Yeah.
Bleeding Steel, we thought was going to be 62. We didn't think very highly of it. That one actually comes out digitally and in theaters the same day. I forget what digital platform. But that is the sci-fi Jackie Chan film that looks bizarre. And then Ant-Man, we thought was going to land at 92, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, that's a good guess.
Yeah, which honestly, like
I stand by those.
if you have a MCU film now and it's not above 90,
That's a bad mark.
It's
an
not
extra-
a Marvel movie.
yeah, it's not a Marvel movie. I don't really know where I was going with that, but other than the fact that they
Yeah.
all basically end up in the at least high 80s,
They do.
which is
It
which is
looks
a
good.
feat.
I can't see any
Looks
faults
great.
right now unless
Yeah.
it just completely just wrecks it. And
Sure.
For my
Unless
review
it just
tomorrow,
bombs.
Sandia
But-
Film Journal.
Yeah, check out his blog,
Yeah.
or come here next week and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
And so we'll see the actual scores next week, and so we're
Cool.
gonna skip the coming soon now with pre-tomatoes because of that. But I will say that one thing that I didn't put in last week that I wanted to was Sharp Objects, which I think comes out this upcoming Sunday.
Yeah.
Is that the Amy Adams?
Yes,
Yeah.
Amy Adams' new limited series on HBO.
Was it HBO?
Showtime.
No, it's if it's either of those, it's definitely HBO because
That's
it's
prestigious.
because it's
That
the
sounds
same
about right.
or it's not Netflix, is it?
Pretty Little
no.
Liars.
Pretty Little Liars.
No, it's Big Little Lies.
Big
Stop
Little Lies. It's the
confusing
same
us.
director as Big
They're
Little
nothing
Liars.
alike. Stop
So-
it. Stop
I
it.
remember
Stop
that,
it.
yeah.
The Big Little Liars director
I
did
will
not jump
take
ship.
you all day on that.
I know. They're the same name. They're way too close. Basically the same show too.
I'm gonna kill
no.
you.
I will say though
murder you.
that Sharp Objects looks amazing. I
It
already
does.
know
Good.
it's got good reviews
good.
coming in.
Yeah.
And so we got to watch
Big
that.
Little Lies is amazing if you'd only give it a shot.
I know.
Dylan.
Pretty Little Liars is a really good show too.
Yeah, if you're a teenage girl.
Pretty Little Liars is
I'm just
not
kidding,
good,
never seen
guys.
them.
It's terrible.
Anyways, so catch all of those in theaters if you're interested. And then early. I've looked at some of those scores. I won't ruin it, but we're not too far off.
No, I think we're probably pretty close.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's go into our reviews segment here on Screen Source. What are you watching? So who wants to take this first?
Gosh.
I'll kick it off.
Go ahead.
Yeah, 'cause I got to think about it.
It was a couple of weeks ago now. I think American Animals released in Albuquerque on the 22nd of June. But oh my, that's the best movie I've seen for the summer so far, probably.
Refresh me.
Yeah,
on
what is that one about?
So American Animals is it's a true story. It's not based on a true story. It's a true story about 4 college kids in 2004, I believe, who rob their university of a couple of precious books. There was like an original Darwin, a couple other like really expensive books. They wanted to sell them on the black market to make their impression on the world. And the interesting thing about American Animals is it's recreated, of course, like a normal film. So you've got actors playing the parts, and the whole series of events is filmed as a normal movie. But there's these random interjections with the real people who did that, and they're just giving out their own commentaries. It's like part film, part documentary.
Interesting.
It's really unique. I haven't seen anything like that until today's required.
Until the
viewing.
4th kind.
Well, they do that a lot in like TV series, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those like This Happened to Me, or those kinds of shows.
And like a feature film,
Yeah, you don't say it too
weird,
often.
but it's really great. It's atmospheric. It's really provocative. The ending just had me like wanting to throw up. It's amazing.
Wow.
That and Thoroughbreds are probably my favorite movies of the year so far.
I heard about really Thoroughbreds, the ones where they're planning on killing
stepfather.
their dad. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. So top 2 of the year so far. Those two about
Nice.
teenagers with existential problems. I don't know if that's
Is it just relate? Are you relating to it?
I guess I relate to it. But yeah, that's what I've been watching.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm actually interested in watching both of those. They've been getting a lot of praise too, as far as I understand.
Awesome.
I'll go next. I've been watching Sons of Anarchy. So because the Mayans MC prequel show to Sons of Anarchy is coming out, I think in August.
And Edward James Olmos is in it.
And Edward James
You said that
Olmos is in
last
it,
time.
which is
Sorry,
holy shit.
excited.
That has me very excited. So I decided to go back. There's a handful of shows that I've been really wanting to go back to, and over the last few years, and so some of them I have been able to. Battlestar Galactica was one of them, my favorite show. Mad Men, I've been wanting to go back to. I rewatched that. Dexter, I went back and rewatched. It's basically HBO Showtime shows. And what else did I go back and I didn't rewatch all of House of Lies, but I've been wanting to do that, the Don Cheadle show. But Sons of Anarchy was one of them, just because of how much it impacted me into, and it was one of those ones too that like made cable television or AMC actually. Is it AMC?
Yeah.
Is it FX?
It's FX.
FX. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Boost FX's ratings, I
big
guess.
time.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
They kind
And-
of legitimized them a little bit.
They
FX.
did. Yeah.
I mean,
I'm trying to think of other shows that would have.
That was
Yeah.
they had Sunny, always Sunny,
Sunny,
but that kind of fit. with
Archer,
their-
right?
Was Archer? maybe.
But I
it's been
think
with
Sons
them,
was
but
the
yeah.
first of all
Yeah,
of
you've
those.
got like
Before
all
that even.
prestige programming on FX now. It's actually kind of crazy.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that we're getting,
Yeah, 'cause I
HBO and Showtime quality shows.
FX was almost kind of Fox-ish or like Spike-ish.
Yeah.
originally,
for a while.
and then
And it's
they
owned by
started-
Fox, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they started kind of cranking these ones out.
Yeah, and so as we said before, it's a show based on Hamlet, which is
Really?
probably honestly why.
I mean, Hamlet, and also the writer of the show spent like a while basically doing an ethnography, if you know what that is, with
What is that?
Hell's Angels.
Hell's Angels.
Wow.
So like he actually like lived with Hell's Angels and like spent time with them and like was one of them, as sort of.
Did meth and committed
He
murder.
was just like studying them.
Kidnap people.
Yeah, he immersed himself in their culture,
Yeah.
so he could
Wow.
figure out how the show was going to go.
There's like a lot of like NPR journalists that do that. I imagine like Vice and Vox and all them too. That
Yeah,
do really good
yeah.
journalism. But that's amazing. That honestly, I think it shows in that show just because
Big time.
of
Because bikers scare the shit out of you guys.
just because
Don't
of how
mess with
scared I
them.
was. It's still really good. I'm having a good time. I'm halfway through the first season. Actually, I'm almost done with the first season, and I think there's 7, so I got a lot to go.
Yeah.
And they're hour-long episodes, but there's only like 13 season episodes, so nothing outrageous.
It's not major.
Yeah.
But I can
takes a long
just
time.
speed through them because of they keep leaving on cliffhangers and
What are you watching this on Netflix?
Netflix.
Netflix?
Yeah. So if you've
you
never seen
binge.
it, or if you want to go back and rewatch it, I'm more than happy to talk talk Sons with you.
Now there's Mayans. Have we heard anything of? There's supposedly supposed to be another spin-off that's
The Niners?
well, it's post everything that happened at the end.
Gotcha.
Like picking up where it left off.
Okay.
Things shifting and all of that.
Okay.
Supposedly, but I haven't heard anything about that. Only thing I've
It's
heard
an
is
interesting show that kind of comes back around on itself. I guess if you know anything about Hamlet, there's a lot of death involved, and
It is
other
a tragedy
ghosts.
after all.
There's no ghost. Almost. There's like the ghost of his father. That's what a lot of the show leans on.
True.
Yeah.
It's all about like him learning about his dad through the trials and tribulations of him becoming president of this club.
There's a lot of storylines of things from the past coming
Yes,
back too.
yeah, it's fantastic.
So, metaphorical ghost.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, not real
Not
ghosts.
everything can be a Chucky. So, anyways, that's what I've been watching this week. What are you guys watching?
Let's see. I've been watching a couple things, but I'll just talk about Handmaid's Tale. So I've been watching season 2 of Handmaid's Tale. I think I just watched I'm not sure if it's the last episode of the
every
season.
episode you watch, you think is the finale.
I know. I always think it is, and then I'm always surprised that there's more. But somebody actually told me that this was the last episode of the season. Not sure. It ended very interesting, and I won't give anything away. I won't give anything away, but this show is just so fascinating, and it scares the shit out of me, guys, because we're living in a time where this could become reality, and especially with Justice Kennedy retiring and all this stuff happening, it's like we could have Roe v. Wade overturned in a matter of like a year, and so it is horrifying. So I mean, it's a great show, but the reason why it was made was to like caution everybody, like a cautionary tale, and now it's like sort of coming true, so it's pretty scary.
Unfortunately, it's not being shown on Fox. So
I know.
the president will never see it.
I know.
Shucks.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, I highly recommend it. I think it's great, but I really hope that that's not what the reality is.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good
Pretty
watch.
cruel. No, it's good. It's
Are you keeping up with it?
Kind of. I don't think I'm as deep as you are. I'm still
Yeah.
just kind
I mean,
of like first to the second season.
It's really good, and what I mean by cautionary tale is that it's telling people do something, vote, make your
based
voice
on-
heard, change something.
Is it based on a book?
I think
It's based on
It's
a
a-
Margaret Atwood.
Have you read the source material?
I haven't.
Oh.
I
think it
might-
might. I think it might be a
should.
series. Am I
Is
wrong
that right?
about that?
Yeah, I'd be interested in that. Checking
You
that
mean
out,
like
too.
a series of books?
Yeah.
I
Series of
don't
books.
know that. I think it maybe. I don't know. Margaret Atwood does a lot of writing that's very controversial and like a lot of like feminist stuff. So she's, as far as I know, she's a really great writer. Yeah.
Cool. What do you watch,
Right
Stan?
on. On a lighter note,
Yeah.
no, I watched. I'm a big fan of like really cheesy monster movies, so I watched
Nice.
the latest Tremors.
Ah.
Tremors 5.
Cool.
They're like, they're kind of doing their
Wow.
own little thing now, and
Where'd you watch it?
It's starting. I think they're starting to jump the shark a little bit, maybe. Well, I mean, like, yeah. I mean, like, even like all their crazy ideas are running out of crazy ideas now. So it was
Shark jump. What did they jump in Tremors 3?
they jumped like the graboids and like a megalodon, and it was just no, because it's set in the Arctic,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is Southern California substitutes for the Arctic, it's really washed out. And
Nice.
they might have went to like Utah,
Oh,
got the ski
boy.
slopes for
Oh,
some
boy.
Got some ski slopes.
yeah, for some of the
Guys,
snow for
we're
the
from
realistic.
Southern California. It's not anything like the Arctic.
Oh yeah.
Just
yeah.
FYI.
Yeah.
I've never been to Southern California, and I could probably tell you
Yeah.
it's nothing like the Arctic.
Right.
Nope.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. It's a continuation of the whole movie series, and I guess there's supposed to be a
TV show.
kind of like how the Child's Play thing is working out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I haven't heard too much on that.
We did a news bit on it once. I can't remember. I can't remember.
It's supposedly. I don't know if it's done. I know it's been worked on, so I haven't heard any kind of movement or any premieres or anything. So I can't really speak on that. And that was an actual Tremors TV show in the, I want to say, mid to late 90s.
Okay,
Really?
so they're
Huh.
A little,
restarting it.
yeah, and I know Bert,
Probably bad.
the crazy prepper character. He's kind of been the mainstay in all of them.
Hmm.
It was him and the town where they originated, and it was kind of like, I don't remember how many seasons. I think it ran around
Kevin
a season or two.
Bacon in the original?
Kevin
one?
Bacon was the original. Him and Fred Ward.
Does
Oh,
he carry
man.
on in any of the other
So
ones?
supposedly that was the only one he was in. Supposedly he was involved in the TV show, but I don't. Like I said, I haven't heard anything other than that. So it'd be kind of weird. It'd be kind of interesting to see where they take it.
Yeah.
As if because I don't know, the TV show was kind of going a little closer to canon, whereas like the TV show was like kind of focusing on the original movie, whereas they're just kind of making these movies now, with the guy and he's the dad from Family Ties.
Okay.
I forget his name.
Yeah, I don't know his name either.
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds like
Okay.
fun.
It's definitely it's a lot. If you're familiar with the movies at all, it's just a mindless.
Sure,
it's
yeah.
fun and it's one of those ones you can turn your brain off and watch.
Some popcorn.
And, yeah,
Yeah.
and honestly, it's only because it's part of the series that I like is the only reason I watched it. Otherwise, I'd
Yeah,
stay away.
I
from
really
Sure.
like the
part five
original
of
Tremors.
anything,
The Kevin Bacon Tremors.
Yeah, how
I'm
many
a fan.
part fives are there that are like good?
They're just awesome. You're like, oh yeah,
They're just awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a good question.
There's
Don't
actually
know.
not even just a lot of part fives in
Right.
general. So we got
I'd say,
we got
Harry
Saw,
Potter.
Star Wars, Harry
I'd say,
Potter.
but Rocky 4 is better.
Part
It's-
5,
it's not
Empire,
as good as-
yeah.
Rocky 5 is worse than Rocky 4.
Part 5 for Star Wars would actually be Attack of the Clones. So
the worst
Oh.
one. Yeah,
No.
that's tough.
Oh,
Unless you go
technically,
chronologically.
yes. Chronologically.
All right, cool. That sounds like fun. I will watch maybe that one.
yeah, it's in theater.
No,
It's probably going to be in theaters here for a little while, so you got time.
Sweet,
Cool.
sweet,
Nice.
sweet,
No,
sweet.
I do want to check that one out.
Cool,
That
yeah.
sounds awesome.
And if I'm gonna watch Tremors 5, I got to go back and watch one. I've only seen the first one.
Right, yeah. You got some catching up to do.
Yeah. I'm sure it's a very good through line. All right, so the required viewing, I chose this last week. It was The Fourth Kind. Every week we choose a movie by one of us, and we give an in-depth spoiler review of that film or TV series. If you want to watch the first couple episodes or something. Also, speaking of, where did we last leave off? You're still in training. I don't know how this works out. Which one of you chose last? I think you did. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to,
Fernando, then you, and then
did you? What was the last one you
Life
chose?
is a House.
And then yours was
Mine was Train to Busan.
Train to
Oh,
Busan.
That
Yeah, which was before
a
that.
while- That was
Cool. So if you want to start thinking of a required viewing,
Okay.
while we
next.
go through this. So anyways, I chose The Fourth Kind. It was a movie that I saw in theaters when it came out. I actually don't remember what year that was.
2009.
Thank you.
09.
2009. So yeah, I was 19. I was enthralled by it. It was me and a bunch of friends. And I remember very vividly standing outside the theater and talking about what if the aliens were so they're so advanced but they don't understand like bells and string technology or something, they trip over bells or something. I don't know. We were having a good time. But it is a film. I think it's the directorial debut of some director.
That's a hard name.
Yeah, it was an
I
interesting
can't
name.
pronounce his name. Yes.
Actually,
he's in the beginning, right? He's
Yeah,
the guy.
he's
the
doing the
one
interview.
in the very beginning.
It has my favorite actress, and I mean that sarcastically.
Oh.
Yeah, Jovovich.
I
Yeah,
used to hate her for many, many a year.
She was actually pretty good in this.
She was
was-
very good
she
in
was
this.
great in
I have no reason or justification for hating her. I just did for many years. I don't anymore, but I did.
Yeah, most known for the Resident Evil series, which is widely panned. But I chose this because I've been wanting to rewatch it for a long time. It is an interesting film in that there are not a lot like it. It has been compared to films like Paranormal Activity and which one am I thinking? Blair Witch Project. But this one's interesting because you see reenactments, but you also see the original footage, which I think is just filmed footage.
Right.
But they make it look like it's original, and so again, it's compared to.
really?
I believe so. Yeah.
Oh man, they got me.
Well, if I'm
seems
not
real,
mistaken,
right?
that's what
It's-
it is, which
yeah.
is why it's compared to Blair Witch a lot, because Blair Witch was promoted like it was a real thing.
Yeah.
They put out the studio, I think it was Universal or something. They put out fake like news articles about this film, and
okay.
they got sued over it by like some
some
Alaskan
right, yeah.
local
well, it's,
Alaskan.
okay, so it's loosely based on like actual
yeah,
happenings,
like
right?
abductions and
Like, I guess I get okay. So I guess what I read about was that it is about the abductions, but as far as the actual cases, they're just missing persons.
Missing persons,
So that's part of that's part of the reason they got sued, was even though it's talking about this fantastic thing, they were actual like missing people, even though they're supposedly were taken away by.
Yeah, and so this just real quick, let's just go over it real fast. It is following a doctor, a psychologist, or a psychiatrist. Psychologist. Who is starting to experience interesting things with her patients, and that they're all saying something similar. Largely, there are owls staring at me when I sleep. I can't sleep. There's something happened to me during my sleep. And it kind of devolves into there are aliens abducting my patients. I need to get to the bottom of this. And
a few twists
with
along
some
the
few
way,
twists
yeah.
along the way. And you see you see footage of people going through these, what would you call this?
Like archival footage.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking like the people that are
possession.
possessed. They're basically being possessed by the aliens that were there the night before.
It's the I guess it's a controversial thing too. It's the hypnotherapy.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
I've got
hypnosis
stuff to say about that.
Where they, well, that's
Got a hot take?
during the hypnosis sessions, they would like freak out.
They would start having convulsions and shit. Okay, tell me about hypnotherapy.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
It's not real.
Yeah.
I think, well, I can't
Yeah.
blame Hollywood for this because I'll admit it's very juicy stuff, but hypnotism and
It's a fun
heightened
idea.
suggestibility doesn't work. It's
Nope.
not real.
Nope.
What is real and what is most dangerous about Hollywood doing these things is the possibility of implanted memories
Sure.
when during these supposed therapies and the cultural ideas that come from the movies, people can start to believe things their psychologists
Yeah.
are persuading them to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a whole thing. It's dangerous. And that was one of my main criticisms with the movie. It was actually a pretty good movie. But and I thought this stuff was real, and that was my one needle to pop the balloon. But now that I'm learning it's all fake, never mind.
Jess, do you have a hypnotherapy rebuttal?
No, I generally don't really believe that it works. I do think that like certain types of therapy like mindfulness and like meditation work, but those are different than hypnotherapy.
I
so.
do, as far as I understand, it's used largely in like cigarette getting over
Right,
cigarettes.
like for things you like, habits that you want to break, like losing weight or quitting smoking and things like that.
What's up?
I've actually studied some hypnosis stuff. The key thing to know is that all hypnosis is self-hypnosis.
Right.
Yeah, you're convincing yourself of it.
Like, if you don't know a memory, you can't hypnosis up a memory. But like you said about like addiction, is that you can hypnotize yourself into associating different like, feelings.
Pavlov's dog.
Stimulus.
Yeah.
So that instead of like whenever you smoke, you have all of these sort of built up things. Of
Sure.
Like, I do this and I feel calmer. You can sort of manually associate that instead with a bad emotion.
Yeah.
So that all of the chemical dependencies are still there, but you don't want to do it because you think it will make you upset, when it probably will still just be as calming as it always has.
Interesting. So this movie, a lot of the scary parts happen during this hypnotherapy sessions, and then it goes into this like footage where like it's showing you the real thing of people like floating and then getting possessed, and then you see a UFO at one point in the movie, just a bunch of crazy shit. And so, in general, how'd you guys feel about it?
It's a good movie.
Yeah,
It's
I liked
it's
it.
really scary. It's fun. I've never been more scared of owls in my life. I have to say, after watching this movie, whenever I see an owl, I'm like, oh God, get that thing away from me. But yeah,
It's really chilling. I think it's neat how they don't actually show any of the aliens, although I think it's kind of lame how they make you think that footage is real. I'm gonna be spiteful of this.
Can I just interject? How do you feel this compared to was it what's the one you just saw?
American Animals.
That was real footage, yeah.
Yeah, that was interviews after
Actual,
like currently.
but it was
in
but it was the actual interviews.
Yeah.
How do you feel like that as opposed to this?
I actually didn't like the way that played into American Animals very much. That was my only criticism. The
Right.
movie's still amazing though. But here, oh, it was interesting. I think it was a little overly stylized.
I liked what they tried to do.
It was cool. Like sometimes it was really cool when they put the two screens against each other
Yeah.
and they like switch.
Yeah, they kind of
everything.
move the center of that around.
kinda-
Yeah, the other thing it's a little overly stylized at times. I had my eyes.
It was the
rolling.
director's first
Yeah,
first
I
shot.
think so.
And I guess he was the protege of another famous director.
Plus, I mean, I can see like this being in the script like that, and maybe wanting to stick to the script.
Sure.
Because one of my deals on this one in particular, and especially because they're the archival footage is actual like just film footage. And she did the girl did a great job, and it's nothing to her, but the contrasting of the two kind of takes me out of it a little too much.
Huh.
Yeah.
Because Mila Jovovich is a very strong actress.
Yeah.
And she gives a very good performance here, and comparatively, it took me out of it every time.
Would you have liked it if they just did one or the other?
I almost would have. I think that a lot of the subject was strong enough where they didn't need, or maybe they didn't need as much as the footage, like you said. But like a first time director, and I can imagine like the script and them just wanting to go by the script.
Yeah, well, I think that was a lot. That must have been one of the biggest pushes behind this. Is that like, hey, we're going to make this look real by having this like creepy woman with big old bug eyes, and her cadence and how she talked was really scary.
I also want to wonder if Mila Jovovich, if they had her in mind already, or if they had her, they knew they were getting her, or if she was like a later catch.
Well, she was for sure a good choice.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, and like I said, I would have almost bought just an entire movie of just her.
Sure.
Without, or maybe not as much.
But that footage of watching the guy float off the bed was, oh my gosh! And then the footage of this other woman in the real footage when she's being possessed towards the end of the movie and her jaw's like open.
Yeah,
that's frightening. And I don't know if they would have been able to do that with what looks like a Hollywood movie of Jovovich doing that.
Right.
I think it's arguably more terrifying to see it in grainy footage.
With a little more subtlety, I think this film could have been amazing.
Okay,
But
you think it was a little too
overdone?
That's what I mean. Yeah, I think if they could have toned it down quite a bit.
Interesting.
And they could have kept it, but I think they were relying on it more. Like I said, I think the script was probably they were just going by that.
Sure.
Whereas there's somebody maybe with a little more experience who'd be like, well, this is a very strong performance, and we can
I liked some of the sound editing. I realized it was coming in with like very heavy bass. I actually had to turn
Super
it
heavy
down.
bass. Yeah.
But I liked that because it added to that kind of
Makes your heart race.
ambiance.
Yeah.
But it was different though than how other horror movies do it.
Right.
Is what I kind of saw. Like a lot of the horror movies do like the thump of the heart and stuff and the scary thing. This one it wasn't that. The whole movie's about tone, honestly.
Yeah.
Right.
It makes you wonder if it's like when people are listening supposedly for aliens over the radio waves, how like the cadence of that, if that's what it's supposed to like sound
and I think
like.
the movie's actually pretty smarter than you would probably give it credit for in that regard, because it's dealing a lot with the questions of what's real, what are you implanting in yourself, with the hypnosis.
I was gonna say the movie touches on that a little bit about the hypnosis.
With the
controversy of the
antagonist hypnosis. Basically being the
herself
and it's raining. There was a thunderstorm tonight. And oh my God, it's happening.
Oh no,
the fourth kind.
Here we go.
And also to be clear, the fourth kind is abduction. It's based off like this long list of like alien theory stuff that I'm not I'm into and that I find interesting, but I don't believe any of it.
The first kind
is visual contact. The second kind
is after the fact
is
evidence,
crop circle evidence.
Radiation.
Okay.
Third kind would be actual
contact.
contact.
Third is contact.
An alien being.
fourth is abduction.
And fourth is abduction.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
So that's what this movie's focused on. There's Close Encounters of the Third Kind, obviously, which
I
was
had us
actually
watch
another
that.
required viewing,
Yeah.
which was very good. And this is very different in that
Oh, yeah.
it's not Spielbergian at all.
No.
It also,
And
I
there's
also
not
like,
little green men.
Yeah.
No man.
I also like too that they kind of touched on some of the more like in-depth conspiracy
Yes.
theory kind of stuff about there's a whole section about Sumerian
Language.
and things and there and if you delve down that rabbit hole, there's a whole
Oh, yeah.
mess of things that they're
That's actually kind of cool because you don't see that in alien films.
yeah, no, that's what I was gonna say. I dug that. I dug that they kind of took a lot of the things that are
Just watch X-Files, guys. It's all
not
there.
relevant, but I mean, yeah,
It's like a possession, ghost, demon movie more than an alien movie, which is interesting.
little bit, yeah.
Kind
Especially
of,
with
yeah.
That
A little bit.
context.
Yeah, and the fact that they're like keeping it kind of like academic, but in movie form, and that like they're talking to linguists and
Right.
psychologists, and then again who I was going to say the antagonist was the cop basically. Like,
Right.
you're full of
Kinda
shit.
like
You're full of
him.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name? I
Will
don't.
Patton.
What is it?
Will Patton.
Will Patton.
Oh, he's the real guy. His name was August.
okay.
In
Is
the
it Will?
movie.
That's the name of the actor. Will
His
Patton.
name-
Okay.
the actor's Will
Got it.
Patton,
Yeah, I don't see him a ton.
I always remember him from Armageddon.
Sure. Yeah.
That
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's
Yeah.
that guy from Armageddon.
Yeah.
Another thing is I actually like the pacing of the movie. It's like a tight hour and a half.
Yeah,
Um,
I was surprised that it was that short.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do good with the heightening where like they tease it at the beginning and then it just kind of gets weirder and weirder and crazier and crazier. And so that structure wise, I thought that was a good move. I looked this up afterwards. Widely panned film. Not very high scores by critics. A lot of them didn't like it for the reasons that you mentioned, that this stuff is potentially dangerous to viewers.
Yes.
Which I totally agree with. Honestly, I have a lot of like internal struggle because I consider myself kind of an academic. I'm in a master's program in a science program, and I don't like kind of the perpetuation of this stuff to the
Right.
public because I think I think it's potentially dangerous.
Yeah.
But I
people
find it
believe
very
this shit.
fascinating. Yeah,
Right.
but I also find it fascinating. And so I struggle between those things. And then also this is a film, so
Yeah.
take it for what it is.
It's like if you believe it, that's your fault. Like do research and like be a critical thinker and be skeptical
yeah.
of things. Don't just like believe everything that you see and hear, because then that's your own fault.
So they didn't like it for that reason, the other reasons I'm not entirely sure. Oh, Roger Ebert, same thing, 1.5 out of 4, but said that Mila did give a really good performance,
Ooh,
Oh,
how
yeah.
did-
No,
which
she-
I thought was yeah, I agree with the
She
performance.
did great. Yeah, I'm sorry. The whole like the whole score. I'm just wondering if maybe it was just a little like like I said, it piqued my interest about the things like with all the Sumerian things, and like if you're not into paranormal or anything like that, maybe it goes over your head a little bit, or maybe you're kind of like
Well, I also imagine that movies with this topic probably don't generally do well.
right.
I'll bet critics aren't largely into these types of films.
That's unfortunate, because actually what you said, I agree too. I think this actually is a lot smarter than I think people give it credit for.
Sure, yeah.
And I think I remember rewatching it too. Kind of the idea at the very beginning. It's the fourth kind, and what's the first thing they do is they break the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She comes in
Interesting.
and talks about it. And that it's kind of layered from there. So I appreciated a lot of it. And like I said, I think maybe that was a little overdone in the end, but other than that, like I said, I think it's a lot smarter than everyone gave it credit for.
Yeah, I think so
You
too.
know if it's developed a cult following at all?
I hope so. I really do, because of how
keep
much
hearing
I
about
enjoy this film. It's one of my favorite films of this genre. That is a good question though. I don't know that it has. Maybe I'll go on the Reddit page or something.
it might be long. It's long enough to have a small.
There is another film that came out, I think, this year that seems to be following it in the same footsteps. It's not Alien though. It's about possessions by demons and stuff. I forget what it was called, but
Ghost House?
that sounds right. It was a limited release kind of poltergeisty. I don't know if it was British. It was definitely a smaller indie, but it was I don't know if they even I want to say serialized, but Hollywooded it, you know what I mean. There's got to be a word for that.
Yeah.
live actioned it. I don't or
Wide release?
No. They're
What are you
called like
talking
what are they called in shows like this where they reenactments?
Adaptation?
Reenactments. I don't know if there are reenactments in this movie that I'm thinking of, but there's definitely it's definitely like being thrown at you, or in the trailers at least, something like this, and that they're saying, this is like crazy real stuff that happened.
Right.
Make sure to like you're gonna jump out of your seat, all that kind of shit. So okay, cool. I actually thought you guys weren't gonna like this film, so I'm glad you guys.
I dug it.
End up on the
It's
side.
scary.
It is scary. It's
scary.
I
was chilling.
Scary.
don't know if aliens are a thing of mine. Maybe they are, because usually I'm not. I'm pretty good with the horror movies, but this is one. And I was thinking about another alien movie that kind of twisted my nuggets a little bit. Was
Twisted my nuggets.
Fire in the Sky.
Oh yeah, that's what I was
That one
thinking about.
freaked me out.
That was just like straight up graphic.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
scene when they're
Wait, don't say.
Yeah.
I want to watch it.
Oh my
now.
God! Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Watch Fire,
Fire in the Sky.
just for like the
Yes.
last
It's
was
really
like
good.
30,
Yeah,
20 minutes.
The whole
that makes the
actual
movie.
is really, it's just about the case. But then he has a
Oh.
flashback.
That's
Okay.
the
And
best.
it's pretty visceral.
That's the best alien abduction
And it
like
freaks-
scene ever.
Really?
If you
Yeah.
ask me.
It
Wait, is
freaked
that the
me
one
out.
that the Arizona?
Somewhere
yeah,
they're in the mountains.
Yeah, I think it
and the
is.
guy gets
Okay, because
zapped.
there's a couple movies made
Robert
about the
Patrick's
Arizona sightings, which was a big thing in like the 80s.
No. This is
That's
before
different.
that.
Got
This
it,
is-
got it,
'cause
got
the
it.
case, this case was like in the 70s or 80s.
Yeah, it's like a 90s movie, I think.
But it came out in the
But
90s. Yeah.
Okay, so Fire in the Sky, and then also we did a like best. We did like a best first person footage a while ago.
Found
Right.
footage, yeah.
Best found
Oh, yeah,
footage,
yeah, found footage.
for a game that we're gonna play here soon. And you guys recommended Troll Hunters, and so I've been wanting to watch
Yeah.
that.
That's a good one,
I'll watch
too.
that and Fire in the Sky. Those are my.
Oh, yeah,
those
there
are
you
on
go,
my
there you
list.
It's your homework.
Pick one of those to be your required viewing.
True.
But I feel like you know what it is. So, anyways, thank you for indulging me, people. I appreciate it.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you
have,
choosing?
I thought of one that's required, I think, viewing. Have you done Battle Royale?
No.
No.
But
I like
I've
Battle
seen that.
Royale.
Battle Royale. I think
Have you
I
seen
think
it,
that
Jess?
I think that is a required viewing.
I think a lot of people have seen it.
Yeah. The Japanese original
Yeah.
film.
Yes.
Live action.
Yes.
Okay, because there also is an anime of it, right? Yeah.
Okay.
And
I
it's,
did
and
not
it's
know
based
about
off
that
of a
one.
manga, I think.
It was based
Yeah.
off a book.
Manga.
It was a book, and
Oh, it was
then
a book.
it was they
So both
they
was
mangaized
adapted into a
it.
manga that
Yeah.
was adapted into a live action show.
Which was adapted into
and
a.
actually the same manga was adapted into the anime.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Dope.
So you want to do the live action?
Let's do the movie.
Sweet.
The live action movie.
Nice.
'Cause There's
I really like
actually
that
some
one. I haven't
there's some
seen it in a
nice
long
little
time.
production history to go along with it.
Okay,
we can
cool.
talk
I don't know
about
if
It's-
it's streaming anywhere, but I do know I have.
It
I think
was
it's on
on
Netflix.
Netflix for
It
a while.
was.
Yeah.
I can't. I don't know if it still is because I own it too. So I'm like
Maybe
Fairly
Amazon.
certain I have the DVD somewhere.
Sweet.
Cool.
Yeah,
Amazon Prime,
I watched
maybe.
that when I was like 17. So
Nice,
it's been
nice.
over a decade.
I watched it maybe like 6 or 7 years ago. So I
Yeah, a
don't
lot of
remember
people. It kind of got brought back up into the ether, if I'm not mistaken, when Hunger Games came out.
much. Yep.
But we'll
Yeah,
talk about it
definitely.
next week.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's good.
Cool. So that's required viewing. Make sure to watch the live action adaptation of Battle Royale.
Cool.
Gory film, so that's your warning.
For sure.
All right, so every week we play a game here called Last Standing, and this week it's Last Biopic, which I keep switching back and forth from biopic. Standing. I'm running out of ideas here, people. This is a hard, it's a hard game to make every week, but we got some cool ones next week. I think Cheska may have chosen one. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, we got cool games coming up still. Anyways, this week, Last Biopic Standing. So the game here is that each of us will eliminate a movie in one way or the other. You know what? Let's go down this way, and we'll have you choose the last one.
Okay.
My guess is also you've probably seen most of them since
Yeah.
you're the movie.
I haven't seen 2 of them.
You haven't seen
What's
two of
that
them.
ones?
Amadeus and Raging Bull.
Oh, you gotta see
Oh, man.
Amadeus.
I haven't seen
I
like
wanted to.
I those are the same ones actually. I haven't seen the same
Yeah.
ones.
I've seen Capote Aviator and Social Network.
Are they two
Yeah.
Scorsese's
I
on here? Yeah.
Done- yeah.
Which ones are the
Aviator
Scorsese?
and
Scorsese
Raging Bull.
Oh, okay. Wow, Aviator Scorsese, huh?
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's pretty good.
It's his
I have-
Titanic. It's freaking,
gotta
like,
admit,
3 hours long.
I haven't seen The Social Network.
Oh,
Yeah, I get that response a lot. Okay, I'm gonna watch it.
It's okay.
That's the best Fincher movie, I believe.
Okay.
I'm
okay.
interested to see too, because, like the Social Network too, with like all the stuff that's been happening
Right.
around Facebook.
I know.
Zuckerberg 2.0.
Zuckerberg.
Yeah, just let's just make him as ugly as possible. 'Cause
So,
he's
so
We're starting, or-
strange.
Yeah, how about us two start, since we've seen
Okay.
the least, and then
Okay.
you'll go and then you'll
Okay.
go. Sound good?
Yeah.
You'll go last. All right, Jess, which one you doing?
I mean, I'm gonna get rid of the Social Network just because it seems to me like the least important of them. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe not, but I just
Time will tell on that one.
Yeah. You mean like important like socially?
Filmmaking.
Like or
just in general. Like I feel like Mark Zuckerberg, yeah, sure, Facebook changed the world, but but I also feel like all these other people are maybe more influential than Zuckerberg.
Well, yeah, the
so.
movie's
At
not
the
about
moment.
Facebook.
At
It's
the
about
moment.
the people
Yeah.
that made it.
Well,
and
it's-
of course, it's not much of a biopic. It's very fictional.
There you
I've
go.
heard,
Yeah.
but-
There you go.
So
I have oh well, yeah. I mean, okay, I could see I could
Yeah.
see why you
Right.
chose that.
Right.
Yeah. Amadeus based off Mozart.
yeah.
Yeah.
Salieri.
Okay, yeah.
Named after Mozart.
Named after
Based off
Amadeus.
fiction.
Yeah.
Sure.
Um,
yeah. Right. Yeah. I was gonna say. Well.
So
It was a good movie.
should I choose one that I haven't seen or that
That's
I
up
have
to
seen?
Which one do you have seen? I think.
Is a little more fair. Okay, so of the rest of
Possibly.
them that I have seen, which is Capote and Aviator, it's interesting because Leo's one of my favorite actors. Actually, as is Philip Seymour Hoffman, but oddly enough, I don't know if this is oddly enough. Capote stuck with me a little bit more.
Okay.
Especially the character acting. He like, I think Philip's kind of known
Yeah.
for being that
Right.
type of actor. He
Well, yeah.
really gets into his character, and so for that reason, I'm getting rid of The Aviator, which is a great movie. Wow. Yeah,
I
I'm
really
sorry.
like
I'm
The
sorry.
Aviator. I think
Um,
that Leonardo DiCaprio like just nailed it.
Look
think it was
at
good.
look at real
I think it was good.
footage of Capote.
Yeah. Philip
it's
Seymour
good
Hoffman
stuff.
nailed it
It's
too.
insane.
They both did. They both
Have you
nailed it.
seen the other Capote-ish movie? There is another one. His
Yeah.
name's Toby Hall, I believe.
Yeah.
And
Is
he
it
I've
another
seen it.
adaptation?
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's kind of like this where he plays the titular character is Capote, and he's kind of this same.
He's a journalist, right?
Capote.
I think so.
I think he's a journalist.
writer?
Writer, maybe.
He
Okay.
was a writer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This was his first. He got into. I think it was his only nonfiction.
Okay.
That's what this one's about.
Gotcha.
And am I next?
Yeah, you're next.
And
yeah.
I'm next. I'm actually gonna get rid of Capote because I would say Capote is not actually a biopic.
Okay.
Capote is about his book in that case, but it's not really about him.
Him.
Gotcha.
So that's the only reason I would say
Yeah.
that. Not that
Okay.
it's not a good movie.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I thought it was really great. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would
Sweet.
say, and in the spirit of biopics, I would say I don't know if that's quite
That's fair.
maybe in the kind of the same as Social Network. It's not
Yeah.
about Zuckerberg so much
Yeah.
as about
Yeah.
maybe the biopic of Facebook. is
Sure.
the-
Or were you saying the other way around about Social Network?
Yeah, it's about the people, not the thing.
Not
And
the thing.
and Capote's about In Cold Blood, right? That's the book that he wrote.
the book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
Certain
we have
murders,
Raging Bull left and Amadeus. Which one is the winner?
I'm gonna axe Amadeus for Raging Bull.
Okay.
All right.
Personally, if Social Network was still standing, I would have
You'd go
given
with,
it to
go with that
Social
one.
Network.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Usually at the end too, we kind of go with which one would you have done at the end.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it probably would have been Capote. Jessica, which one would you have chosen?
Aviator.
Aviator.
Mm.
Which one would you have chosen?
I'm okay with Raging Bull because I was like, there's got to be one Scorsese up there. I'm glad we got rid of one of them.
Yeah.
And it's that for me, it's a real toss up because I do like Leo a lot, and Raging Bull is not my favorite Scorsese.
Okay.
And not my favorite De Niro either.
Ah.
I think he did an amazing job, and I think it's a really powerful performance. But I think I would have gone with Aviator. I think.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's one you would have at
would've
the very
if
end.
it-
Okay. I was
yeah.
gonna say
But
that would have
I'm-
been very interesting if we all ended up with completely different
But
choices.
I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay with Raging Bull.
Okay. Cool. Sell me Raging Bull and Amadeus.
Raging Bull, that fight scene choreography, it's so stylized. I mean, apart from all the
It's an
Great
80s film.
acting. 80s, yeah, I
It
think
came
so.
out late. I think I want to say late 80s.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah, mid to late.
But those boxing scenes, cinematography, the stylization, that alone is what gets me on Raging Bull.
Okay.
But I mean, there's a lot more to love in that, obviously.
There's a story
And
somewhere in there.
It's De Niro.
It's
He's a really
sort
good
of a
actor.
flawed human being.
Sure,
you
I love
know,
that.
And you're going through his just trials and tribulations.
I
so-
feel like all boxing movies are similar in that way.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's not a lot
Definitely.
of they don't
Well-
really steer off track.
Yeah, well, I mean, and then it is a bio. I mean, it is about the guy's life, so it's not like they could just start making stuff up.
Sure,
either.
yeah. And Amadeus.
I would say Amadeus, a nice piece of fiction. I like
Yeah.
that. I like that.
It's a good movie.
It is a very good movie.
Not accurate in the slightest.
If you don't know anything about Mozart or anything, it's interesting. You
Yeah.
know, but even if you do, it's enjoyable. Like the performances are really great.
Cool.
This movie always ends up on like best movie of all time lists.
It's
Who's
very-
the main actor who plays?
Oh, crap.
Is it?
Sorry.
Is it a no name?
No.
It's someone
so
famous.
it's the bad guy is not, and I don't want to. It's the guy that's not Ben Kingsley. Abraham.
Our producer's looking it up. He'll get it for us.
Yeah, I'm looking for the cast here.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Murray
F. Murray Abraham is
Okay.
he's the heavy,
Okay.
and it's actually it's actually told from the point of view of Salieri,
Okay.
is who was actually Mozart's. I don't want to say nemesis, but sort of like, and maybe in Saliveri's eyes, he was his nemesis.
It's his Darth Vader.
A little bit, yeah. But it's about. I mean, it's really just it's a movie about like just sort of just like genius, like the genius of who Mozart was. And,
Sure,
you know,
yeah.
How he just kind of moved through their society, and they didn't know what to do. They were beside themselves.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It's interesting because I was thinking of is it A Beautiful Mind too?
Yeah.
Which show like when I literally like usually I type in like best biopics. I don't know if A Beautiful Mind's a biopic.
I think
Kind of,
it
yeah.
is.
Or it must have in some fashion be because it showed up
It's
on all
about
the
it's about
lists.
the guy, yeah, Nash.
I
Whatever
typed
his
in,
name is,
but yeah, it's always. I mean, like I bring that up because you mentioned like it's always about geniuses.
Right.
I mean, most movies kind of have to have to
Sure.
have that, but to some extent, I'm sure there are some good movies about mundane people. One of my favorite shows of all
Like
time,
Erin
actually.
Brockovich.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not really mundane. She's actually pretty smart and awesome. But you could think of her as like just normal person, average person.
The show Nathan For You is about a pretty mundane guy, but it's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Would you have considered? Have you seen Battle of the Sexes, the tennis movie?
Oh.
Well, it's not really about tennis.
I
would
wanted
put
to
that
watch
on.
I haven't
that.
seen
It was
it.
very recent. It was
Yeah, that came out
year, I
last
believe.
year.
Did you like
Nice.
it?
It was pretty good.
Cool.
I wish it had more of the tennis stuff.
Yeah.
there you go.
Do you play?
More of the tennis stuff?
Do you play tennis?
Oh, my parents do. They're
Ah.
pros.
Oh.
but no.
Holy crap.
I'm a disappointment.
The other one is really good. Is I, Tonya.
Oh,
It just came
Oh
out.
yeah,
Yeah,
I like I
saw that
told
last
you.
year.
that yes.
Tonya was.
Yeah,
really,
it was good. I feel like a lot of it was probably, made up, but still, I think it was
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, I honestly thought I was gonna like it more, but I did have a good time watching that movie.
Yeah.
And then I also like just in hindsight remember it being just like a little long.
You thought so?
But like that character, that dude that kind of set it all up, that friend
The fat
character,
guy.
the fat
Yeah.
guy, that guy was so funny. Like I would have stayed and watched that whole thing just because it's so ridiculous.
Dude,
Oh,
I
yeah, it
thought
was
it was
great.
too ridiculous. But then you see the interview with him at the end, like,
Yeah.
oh no, this really did
Okay.
happen.
Yeah. No, it was awesome.
Yeah, it's a crazy film. So yeah, a lot of good biopics out there.
Oh yeah, I would say
Um,
like Hidden Figures is like phenomenal. Yeah, King's Speech is phenomenal.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Pain and Gain. Have you seen
That's
that
a
one?
biopic?
Yeah.
Never
It's
seen
it's
that.
a Michael. It's like it's
Damn,
funny.
there's so
I
many
have
good
a
ones.
handful of Michael Bay movies that I actually really like. Bad
Me
Boys
too.
being one of
Bad
them.
Boys, one of the best
Yeah.
films.
So it's one of his kind of
Island.
like between Transformers, and it's a biopic. It was about this group of friends, and they kind of come up with this money-making scheme, and it all goes awry. Like seriously awry. Like
Okay.
murder, like the whole nine.
Nice.
Yeah, and
Damn.
it just and it's so absurd that the movie you can't there's a part in the movie literally it stops the movie and says this is a true story. because things have gotten so crazy at that point.
That's
Oh my
great.
God.
Yeah, Painting
That's kind of
Jane,
cool.
it's
Like a
really good.
reminder,
It's-
like
There
this is not
are
fake.
so
Yes.
many good biopics. I did not realize until I looked it up.
Yeah.
But Selena's amazing.
I was gonna add Selena on there. And
Frida
apparently, Selena's
is
not
an-
like loved by critics. I thought it
Whatever.
would be.
Oh.
I don't give a
movie.
shit what
Okay,
critics think
yeah,
because
yeah. I get see
anything for Selena's.
Anything.
And then Frida is amazing.
Oh
Pretty
yeah.
Frida's really good.
Who plays
Milk,
Frida?
Salma Hayek, like
Ah.
the most beautiful woman that exists on the planet. Milk, and then Walk
Yeah,
the
Milk was
Line
good.
is really good.
I was
Ray
gonna
is
put a
good.
handful of those, but
Yeah.
I was like, I have to choose
Yeah.
5.
Yeah,
So
Schindler's List. Schindler's List.
I think you did good.
Big
I think
Short.
all of these are really
Yeah.
good.
Big Short. Oh yeah, Big
Oh,
Short's
yeah,
one of the,
definitely.
It was one of my favorite
Oh my god,
movies
so good. Yeah.
that year. Anyways, looks like Raging Bull, best biopic of all time. So says Hector. Cool. Let's move on to our last segment, which is trailers. We got a couple trailers lined up here for you. One of which is sticking a little bit to the theme of aliens.
Nice.
So the game here is watch, rent, or skip. And that's pretty straightforward. Afterwards, we'll decide individually whether or not we'd watch, rent, or skip it. And if it's like a Netflix show, which I actually don't think either of these are, the rent would be the equivalent of leaving it in your queue.
What
Right.
is this?
So this is
know,
UFO. New trailer dropped a couple days ago. Let's give it a watch.
Boy.
Think about the comment.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
United 367 preparing for takeoff. Please advise.
Copy that, 367. Stand by. What is it?
Uh-oh. We have a setting.
Until now.
I mean, she's not Scully, so.
You are one of the brightest students
Yes,
I
she
have
is. She's
ever
Scully.
had. And you are failing my class.
Do you hear about this?
I like her
Flight
hair.
operations were temporarily suspended this afternoon after reports of a mysterious aircraft hovering above the airport.
I'm going to need the footage from this entire facility. I want all those passengers in conference room A.
We now believe that it was a small drone.
No way. It's way bigger.
When I was a kid, I saw something. These lights outside.
It wasn't a drone. The guy on TV was lying.
You don't automatically jump to the most extreme explanation.
This isn't some textbook problem. This is more complicated than anything you've ever seen before.
This terminal is crawling with federal agents. Why would they still be here if they'd figured out what it was?
We need to shut him down.
The FBI is monitoring our computers.
Why didn't I see this before?
Think it's some sort of signal?
That's binary. They're using math as a way to communicate. And if I'm right, he's coming back.
Who's Alex Sharp?
Something.
There's an opportunity to take a giant leap forward. Everything is riding on it. What are the most important questions in the world? Is there a God? What happens when we die? Are we alone in the universe? If anyone answered any one of those questions, it would change everything.
UFO.
Interesting.
All right. More Gillian Anderson in my life is okay. My favorite thing about this is that the top comment on this YouTube video was Gillian Anderson says she doesn't want to do X-Files anymore, then jumps over to a UFO film.
Yeah.
It's really dumb.
Right.
To answer your question,
Yeah.
Alex Sharp, did you watch the Netflix movie To the Bone?
I did not.
Oh, well, he has pretty limited filmography.
That's
That's
pretty
what I
much,
know him
that's
for.
pretty much all.
Well, and he said,
I just looked him up because I was curious. It looks like he's mostly a stage actor.
yeah, it said Tony
Okay.
Award winner, so he's doing stage
Right.
stuff.
Nice.
That's cool to see somebody jump over.
Very
to,
cool.
I
Yeah.
feel like
Well, we
they
saw that
generally
in,
do pretty good.
Hereditary.
Huh?
The girl in Hereditary.
Oh, she was
a
stage. Yeah, she was
Yep.
stage.
That was her first feature.
Yeah.
Yeah, stage actors tend to do really well on,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
on
Yeah.
film.
Because it's arguably like, I don't know, stage acting's really tough.
It's
really
different.
tough.
They're two different animals.
Yeah,
definitely,
like
so.
you can rehearse a lot, but you better be good in that moment.
Gotta be the moment.
You can't just like, oh, take 325. Nope.
Nope.
You got to do it right there. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
So it looks like it's largely based on one story. Like it is about a sighting, and then this guy that looks like he's from Mr. Robot. Hacking the codes.
The
I haven't
binary
heard.
code.
So 2017, so it's pretty recent. I guess
Oh,
that's-
so this
that
is
was-
based off of a thing that happened in 2017?
I guess that's what in the beginning of the trailer. That's the time the date. They
That's
gave
different.
So it's another biopic.
There we go.
It's different though. It's something that happened recently, not like 20 years ago.
Sure, yeah.
Nice. That's what I was just gonna say. I don't think I'm actually familiar with this case.
Yeah, I'm not
either.
I'm a big conspiracy guy, so I know a lot of these, but
I thought this was going to be originally. I thought it was going to be like an amalgam of like UFO sightings,
Right.
but it doesn't seem like it is.
Seems like it's just one.
Yeah.
or one specific. So yeah, I don't know any specifics. So I don't.
Huh. What did you think of the trailer in general?
Looks all right. Kind of generic.
It did look
Yeah.
kind
A
of
little
almost
bit.
looked like 4TV.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Maybe.
Or
Low-key.
Clearly like a lower budget
Yeah,
movie.
I don't know.
Oh,
how
speaking of too,
convinced I was.
the budget for Fourth Kind was 10 million,
That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
which is not a ton, and it made 40, so
Wow.
Yeah,
that's not too bad. Yeah.
That's a success.
yeah, if you made 4 times of what you spent in it.
It seems this one seems a little like they're it's a Hollywood movie, but they're kind of sneaking in the back door with like the alien and UFO stuff. It seems like it's more about the going with the feds and
Yeah, the cover-ups
that
and all that
kind of
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as opposed to actual like I get paranormal whatever is for aliens and things.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like they're going to focus on that part as much. You think it might be more on
I think it's more about
this guy
the
chasing
adult,
this
yeah,
kid.
as a but there might be a little bit of aliens or something, maybe a couple of shots. But
Sure,
it's
yeah.
mostly the-
Just because of the subject matter, I'll probably end up watching it. One of my favorite podcasts is Bizarre States. Another one's The Last Podcast on the Left, and they just talk
Oh,
about all
nice.
this stuff, and it's so much fun. Even
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun to listen to, and so watching things like this might be a good popcorn.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. So Rent for me, it
Give it a
ends up on
Rent.
Netflix, so I'll give it a Rent.
yeah.
I skip for now.
Skip
Oh,
for
you
now.
said this was on Netflix?
I don't know. No, I think it actually might be
I think it's a theater.
Yeah, skip for now. If it
By
actually
Sony,
gets any kind of love out there, then maybe I'll change my mind. But nah,
Cool.
nah.
All right, on to more serious topics.
Oh, yeah.
This is Rest in Power, the Trayvon Martin story.
Oh no, I can't watch this. I'm gonna cry my eyes out.
I need to file a missing person report for my son,
Hey, what's his name?
Trayvon Martin. Sanford Police Department. Hey, there's a real suspicious
Jeezy.
guy.
Sean Connery.
Always get away.
There's someone trying.
Wait, he's directing?
He's
Producing.
Wait
Okay.
for them to kill. My tears collecting like raindrops on a windowsill.
This kid was profiled, pursued, and shot in the heart.
George Zimmerman claimed self-defense, standing his ground.
It just polarized the country.
We were overcome with fear and anger.
Trayvon became the face of our community. We had to go to war for him.
Rest in power. Rest in paradise. To all the babies too young to have had to pay the price.
You choose to grieve or to fight.
It took my son being shot down to make me stand up.
Rest in power. Rest in paradise. You have become a symbol in the spirit life.
Is that Common? It sounds like Common.
That's
Sounds like
common,
it.
I think. Yeah.
So is
A
this
lot of things recently.
this is on?
Yeah.
It's going to be on
Acting.
TV.
Paramount
It's a TV
Network.
show?
I think that's replacing Spike.
Oh, is that right?
Replacing?
I think.
Didn't know that.
Wow.
Actually, that doesn't surprise me. Spike's been going downhill for years.
Yeah.
I don't even know how that channel still exists.
Yeah.
The best thing they had was the 1,000 Ways to Die or something.
Yeah,
like
that was a good show.
That was
I
the
remember
only
that
thing I ever
show.
watched on Spike.
Yeah.
Network is a rebranding. I'm pretty sure it is of Spike. They were
Okay.
going to do a Heather's remake.
Wait, Paramount Network's already out,
Is
though.
it?
Yeah,
no, there is a Paramount.
we
Yeah,
were just
it's
talking about
already-
it the other week because Yellowstone.
I guess I just don't get it on my.
Heather's reboot. Give me the fucking hot take.
They they canceled it. It's all good.
Oh, they canceled it.
Thank
Wow.
God.
Good.
Because
So
you
much
cannot
outcry.
remake that
Good.
movie. I'm sorry.
Well,
I
I
could hot take about this for like.
Oh yeah.
An hour.
Oh yeah.
They got everything wrong about that remake.
I've never even seen the original. It's based off a movie, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's based
Oh, yeah,
off
yeah.
of a movie
Winona
that also
Ryder.
became a musical that is my favorite musical.
Oh, fun. Anyways, Trayvon Martin. This was, it feels like, like bound to happen.
Is it
This movie.
a docu-series or is it a movie?
It's a
docu-series. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad when I first right. Yeah, a little bit. When I first saw the Trayvon Martin story, I was like, I thought it was the dramatization. You know,
No, yeah,
and
yeah,
I
it
was
doesn't
like,
look
oh
like it.
man, but then I saw that it was actual. Like,
yeah, like an OJ. Like it was gonna be like the OJ Simpson
Yeah,
dramatization,
something along those lines.
which was
Which
really
was
good.
actually really
yeah.
good. Yeah.
I saw that and I'm like, oh god, it's too soon. Too soon.
Well, yeah.
This
I
is-
was gonna say,
like,
yeah.
oh, documentary.
This is a
That makes a little
documentary.
more
It's
sense.
very fresh. This
When-
is only a couple years
When
out.
did this stuff happen? Because this happens like every
Every
week,
day?
so
Every
it's
week?
hard to keep this in track.
It was 2015,
2015 sounds right.
Yep.
Which
Yeah.
would have gave them 2016 to
Trayvon,
pitch,
I think that was
2017 to
actually even
make.
before then. I want to say.
Really?
Maybe even a couple years before.
You're
that.
right, though. It's just that this happens every week. It's so
happens
hard
all
to
the
keep
Well,
up.
I did kind of like this is like the first real polarizing, and then was Ferguson's. That's what I thought.
2012?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, okay, never mind.
Before I
It's not
moved
too soon.
here.
It's been like 6 years. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
no,
God.
as I say, I think it's been it's been a little while, but yeah, no,
Wow.
here we go, yeah,
Okay, yeah.
and it's more timely now than ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he's
no kidding.
He was 17. He's only 17 years old, and he's so adorable.
Was that
It
supposed
makes
to be?
me so.
Was that the one he's supposed to be
sad.
22 or something? I can't. However, yeah, they said they gave like his age how he's supposed to be.
Again, I feel like this was a long time coming. Of course, they were going to make this film. That was one of the bigger incidents, I guess. And it was also not too soon after, I think, the Stand Your Ground law, if I'm not mistaken, which was
I think
enacted.
I think they'd always had that, but it never. That was the first time it kind of came into the
play.
forefront.
into the limelight. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was that's more of a Southern law
Controversial. Yeah,
than it
Florida.
is.
Weird laws that stays on the books forever because nobody ever actually does it. Like how in some
Like
places it's,
sodomy and other
illegal
weird
to wash
laws.
Your car on Thursdays. Those weird, stupid.
I think in like South Dakota somewhere, I think it's still illegal. Like you could still legally shoot at a group of more than 4 Indians. Like I'm not even joking. Like
Oh
that's
my
still on the
gosh.
books as a
Man.
law.
Just because
Yeah.
nobody has actually brought it up, so everybody forgot about
Everyone
it.
just you know.
It's just like, really, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah, this looks extremely powerful.
Yeah.
Obviously, seeing all those people march in the streets.
Mm.
Well, yeah, it's almost beyond the Trayvon Martin case. Even.
Oh yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah.
just the effects.
Yeah.
They're going to talk about
It just keeps
basically everything up
happening.
until now.
Yeah, and it's just like it doesn't stop, and it's been going on. Things like this have been happening for so long. This is just one of many incidents, but it's
Well, like you said,
know,
like you said in the trailer too. I think this is really the first, one of the first faces that we saw. I mean, like to
Right.
really put a face to like a lot of this shit that.
Yeah, to put a kid
to
to a kid's face
Right.
to this. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
There's like no time where I'm on Facebook where I don't see another story
Yeah.
where this is
something-
happening.
It happened here. It happened in Albuquerque. Some guy got shot in the back at Smith's, I think.
Oh, and then we
Yeah.
watched we watched a trailer to a film last week or the week before that was about the same thing, but it was a cop that shot a young black man. Do you remember that?
The movie trailer, like something.
The hate you give.
The hate you get. That sounds right. Yeah. So
same kind of, but that was a more drum. That was an actual movie.
It's interesting because last year I noticed there were a lot of 9/11 films dropping.
Really?
And
Oh,
so, and I think it was just like at a time where those things come around. And then a couple of years ago we had the Boston Marathon bombing.
Yeah.
And now maybe it's this
that
year.
Movie was quick.
That was a good
Yeah.
movie.
It was.
I didn't
Patriots
watch
Day
it.
with Marky Mark.
Yeah, Marky Mark.
I didn't watch that.
And maybe this year and in the coming years we might see more movies like this. So I think they come in trends, you know.
Yeah, that's kind of the reason why I think I'll skip it.
Yeah.
I feel this is like I don't want to be callous, but
Sure.
this is oversaturated by now. Like it's the same thing, and it's
yeah.
horrible. But I can't keep I've lost interest in
Like, I already
watching
know
this.
the Nazis are back. I don't need to be sad.
Yeah, and so that's why I just generally skip slavery movies too. It's sad, it's awful. The movies are usually well made. It's just I get it.
Yeah.
But no one else seems to, so got to keep making them.
Yeah, well, I think I think probably the biggest push would be that like that we are a fleeting society where things like this happen and we kind of forget about it. So that's probably why these are made. But I'm on board with if I'm being like honest about it, probably a skip, largely too because like I don't have like the emotional capacity to keep to like my glass is so full already, you know.
Right.
Jessica seems to have an endless glass.
I will never stop watching things like this because they're important.
Yeah, you're right.
It'll never stop being important. And it's like you said, we never learn. We never learn the lessons. It's like, when are we going to learn? So we got to keep making stuff like this.
Is that the people who haven't learned aren't going to be watching this.
Of course, that is the problem. That's a huge problem.
Yeah, but you know,
like
the argument could be made that that something like this could also it could be made for people that are on the border of understanding, right? That's really who advocates reach out to, is the people that
like the
don't
moderate
know but might
Oh,
be interested.
It makes me think about like Bowling for Columbine.
Sure.
And how just it was an all around look at.
Where did he go? I haven't seen him forever.
He's still making stuff.
I think he lost a little bit of cred.
I mean, he's
so
still
too.
a little off the rails a little bit.
Yeah, he's still like
still wearing his baseball cap.
Actually, Sicko was really good though.
Was it?
Did you see Sicko?
I did not.
Yeah, it was good.
Sicko was good. Yeah.
Has been mostly like filming. He's been working with like politicians and stuff and doing like.
Oh yeah, Michael Moore. I see Michael Moore on Real Time with Bill Maher sometimes. And
Yeah, he's actually like trying to do things. Yep.
He does still, I believe, does like political commercials and things.
He's a great
been in
filmmaker.
all the like major marches that have happened recently.
Sure.
You know, giving like rousing speeches and stuff. Like he's still around.
Cool.
Yeah. So
All right.
I'll watch it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Rent just because it's on TV, and if I get a chance to watch it, I'll watch it.
Sure. Yeah.
But I don't know. You know, I don't even know if I have the Paramount Network. You know.
Yeah.
One of those deals.
Yeah. Wait until it
But
ends up on Netflix or
it's
something.
Yeah. If it pops up, I'll check it out.
You know what? Yeah. If I'm being honest too, if Jessica's watching this, I'll probably end up watching this.
Yeah. I mean, and I want to see how Jay-Z does as a
interesting.
film producer.
Because he's produced a million albums.
I think he's done TV stuff before too. I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure he
anything
has.
worthwhile.
I can't think of anything.
I'm sure he has. I think. I don't know. I think it's just really interesting that he did this project. We'll see.
Yeah, well, I used to be a big Jay-Z fan, and he would talk about this in his lyrics all the time, amongst other things that aren't as savvy. But for sure, though, he's had like 99 Problems is largely about these types of things.
Of course, yeah. It's about being pulled over, like racial profiling by cops.
Yeah, all sorts of things. Anyways, that has been this episode of Screen Source. Maybe I shouldn't end it on such a downer, but
guys,
the stuff is real.
You
and it
can
happens.
change things. You just have to get out there and vote and
Do
be
it.
an activist and actually make your voice heard.
Give a shit.
Even if you're just
make a or produce a bio. Or produce a movie.
Produce something. Even if you are just a Facebook warrior, I think it's better than nothing, right?
Or react to trailers. No, that's our job. Again, this is actually generally a little bit shorter of an episode of Screen Source, your film and television news, reviews, and trailers. Every week we'll be dropping them on Fridays from now on, kind of. We'll see how that works out. The first Thursday of this wasn't so bad. Back next week, and we'll talk about that. And thank you, Stan. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Hector, for joining me. My name is Dylan, and we are live almost every day on twitch.tv/Color Circuit Live. So make sure to check us out there, where we have more film-related things, also some comedy and some video, board game, and role-playing game things. Make sure to like that button. Hit the like button, I think is probably the word. Maybe it's a thumb. I think it's a thumb on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Share, subscribe, follow, all the verbs. We love you guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.